What up, people? You are live and direct on Petty Sports, the podcast, brought to you by KINGZ Broadcasting Studios. It's your boy, the host, Famous Fees. They call me Facts. I'm right here live with my man, Adam. Holla at him.
What is going on, Petty Sports Nation? You already know what time it is. Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Continue showing us the love, man. The Facebook page, the YouTube is going nuts right now. Don't forget to call the show, 678-871-9602. This is the only place you want to be for everything sports here on Petty Sports Wednesday night. Fees, we got a loaded show, man. Take us away as always.
Man, you already know it's always NFL heavy. Week 14 is in the books, so we got to cover that. Talk about what's coming up in Week 15. A little playoff talk for you. We got some UFC action that was kind of hot on Saturday night. Very unexpected. We had a few things happen that were also unexpected, good and bad. So we're going to cover everything this week. As always, get your popcorn ready. Get you a good stick. Get you something good to drink on. Sit back, take notes. Go ahead and make yourself look smart with your friends. Just repeat what we say, because we be dropping it for you.
That's right, brother.
That's all you got to do. Just take notes and repeat us verbatim.
Clip the show, play it. Dang, bro, where'd you hear that? Petty Sports, Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Fees, let's go off the top, bro.
Yes, sir. Off the top. For the second consecutive week on Petty Sports, the off the top is about none other than Steph Curry, the chef. Steph Curry officially has passed Ray Allen for the most made three-pointers in NBA history. The previous mark was at 2,973. He passed it, ran by it. He also had Reggie and Ray in attendance to watch him. And Ray looked a little bit salty when it happened. He tried to hold it, but he looked just a little bit salty, like, damn, I was hoping I could hold on to that record.
Yep.
And I mean, you can understand it. They still came out. They smiled. They laughed. They enjoyed it. So, man, with Steph passing this record, still going, no telling how many more years he's got in the tank.
Yep.
Will this record even ever be challenged?
Absolutely not. When you look at how, fast Steph Curry passed this record, he did it in literally just about half the games that Ray Allen did. I want to say the attempts were much less as well. Steph's just absolutely been popping off. I mean, we know who Steph Curry is, had a late MVP run last year. One of the best scorers of the basketball we've ever seen, insane handles. But as far as any chance of this record being challenged, I mean, people always say Steph Curry is no doubt the best shooter in NBA history. And obviously, evolution goes on and you get people that are more athletic, they're smarter, they're better, they, potentially shoot better, they're faster, all those things, right? But Steph Curry is truly a one-of-one. I mean, when we saw Ray Allen, do we ever think we would see anybody shoot the three ball like that? When we saw Kyle Korver, did we really ever think we'd see anybody shoot the three ball like that? Reggie Miller as well. I mean, there's been so many dudes in history, but Steph Curry definitely takes the cake. I don't think, honestly, because Steph Curry is early 30s? Steph has easily another 5 to 10 years of basketball in his system, at least 5 to 7. He's going to rack this up. I mean, he's absolutely just going to continue to compound this record. It's going to be like compounding interest in the bank. You just keep buying in and keep buying in and keep buying in. It's just going to keep growing. I mean, considering that he broke the record and he's not even, 15 years into his career, I mean, imagine when it's, like I said, 17 years, 19 years, because he has that type of health and dexterity to play throughout the NBA. So I don't think this record even gets sniffed. This is Steph's probably for the rest of NBA history. I mean, who could touch it? It would have to be years down the road.
I mean, this is going to be one of those unbreakable sports records when people start talking about what's the one record that no one will ever catch.
Yep.
This one is going to end up being that one at the top spot.
Yep.
I mean, if you look at it right now, James Harden is actually pacing at a higher rate than Steph was, just according to his age. But the fact that Steph is still playing, this is that he'll never catch him. He's pacing at a higher rate, saying that if Steph stopped playing, then James Harden could possibly hit that number.
Right.
But when Steph is done, the number is going to be well over 4,000.
Easily.
There's no way. I mean, Harden's not catching it. Harden could actually end up being number 2 on this list.
Yeah.
And that's if he keeps shooting, because since he's been with the Brooklyn Nets, he stopped really shooting like that.
Yep.
He just defers.
Right.
Now he's just a straight-up playmaker. He's completely changed his game, even with Kyrie not on the court.
Assisting like crazy.
But he's the only person that's even fathomably in the conversation for being on pace.
Right.
No one else is hitting that many threes. I mean, Steph hit over 400 in one season.
Right.
Most like anyone else who you start to name off has never done even 2.
Yep.
Let alone 4.
Exactly.
I mean, the fact that he did it so quick. He did it in like 500 less games than Ray Allen. 20,000 less minutes. I mean, like, it's insane how less, like, it's almost half the career, and he passed him.
I bet you if we did the math and we averaged out, like, the average three-pointers made, per player in the NBA, and of course it's not going to be, exactly right, but if we're just talking about an average, I mean, would anybody even sniff a third of that, a quarter of that? I mean, I know it's a lot of numbers to go through, but I mean, the numbers are so staggering. The fact that he did it in so many less games, so many less minutes, it makes it that much more uncatchable for whoever might try to chase this record.
Yeah, I mean, you might as well just hang that up.
Right.
That's his record to hold for life.
100%.
If he quit playing today, that record might not get touched, but we all know he's not doing that.
Right.
Steph is out there having fun.
Exactly.
So, man, real quick, give me one of your most memorable Steph Curry three-pointers.
Hell, all of them. Every single one he's taken from half court in the logo confidently. Every time he shoots and just turns his back before it's made. I mean, Steph is so much fun to watch. I don't know if I can pinpoint one specific Steph three-pointer. Now, I can probably say my favorite Steph play was when he kind of made Chris Paul play Twister when he was with the Clippers. And, yeah, that was really rough. Beautiful play from Steph. I mean, all the way around. So every three he's probably taking looking away or just shooting from the logo, man. I mean, he's such a pleasure to watch. Truly a treat to see him in today's day and age.
Yeah, I remember that play. He went behind the back twice.
Yeah.
Completely destroyed.
Chris was like, where am I going? Oh, it was bad. It was bad.
For me, every time we say Steph Curry three-pointer, what it takes me back to is that game against OKC back in the 2016 season when they went 73-9. They were on the road at OKC. Game was tied at 118. Steph came down. It was already overtime.
Yep.
Closing seconds of the game. Took a 38-footer.
Ridiculous.
And he was past the hash mark.
Mm-hmm.
Drained it. Then he went back down the court, hit him with a little C-walk, and then did the weekend at Bernie's. I mean, that was ridiculous. That was one of those coming out parties like, bruh, you really just shot a game winner from damn near half court?
Right.
Like, it drained it like it was nothing. Like, that was crazy. But that's definitely, that one sticks out in my head. When we start talking about just memorable Steph Curry threes, I mean, that clearly wasn't the biggest one of his career. I know he's had more that meant more.
Right.
But that one just kind of stands out to me.
Right.
Especially that was against the Westbrook Durant OKC Thunder team that took them to the wire in the Western Conference Finals that year, too.
Pimpin' Ken on Facebook says maybe Trae Young, and that's a really long maybe. It's like, I don't even know if Trae could sniff it. Like, Trae's talented, but he's not Steph. I mean,
reminds you of Steph, but he's not hitting at that clip.
Right, maybe Clay. Like, that Clay is probably, and Clay's missed 2 to 3 seasons recently?
Clay's health says no way in hell.
Exactly. It's like he's already put himself that much in the pit, so it's definitely tough. Shout out to the 22 viewers we just had on Facebook, though, popping down to 18 now, but what's up, everybody? Viewership is up. Appreciate that share. Jamila, Graham, good to have y'all in. Petty
Out
Nation.
the blocks, it was at 31.
Yes, sir. Everybody's popping in, man. Let's make it happen.
Oh, yeah, man. We're going to jump this thing on to the Week 14 games of the week because it was a crazy week of football.
It was.
I mean,
hasn't it been the whole season, though?
There was at least 6 or 7 games that actually could have made the slate. We just don't have time for that many. So we're going to start off with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Buffalo Bills. Tampa managed to hold off Buffalo after they went up 24-3 in the first half, got taken to overtime, and then sent them home with a walk-off touchdown in overtime.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, are the Bucs showing that they're actually a little beatable, or is the sky just falling in Buffalo?
It's actually both, man. But let's start with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Tom Terrific, as Bell called him right after the game. Absolutely insane game. So this is really a tale of two halves. I mean, it's super simple game to break down. Bucs have a 24-3 lead, 4 straight scoring drives. They forced 4 punts on Buffalo in the first half. Force an interception as well. Buffalo was 2 for 13 all day on third down, including in overtime. They doubled up the Bills in yardage in the first half, passed for 214 and 3 touchdowns on the NFL's best pass passing defense. And then, the fact that you have the Bucs turn around to go 1 of 6 on third down in the second half, 3 points in all of the second half, and just 116 yards. So this was a big game to where Tampa comes out the gates, and Devin White even said it, look, we were too confident. We were too amped up. We assumed that since we punched them in the mouth early and often that they were just going to roll over for us. And that's absolutely not what happened. And, we've seen this before with Tampa. Look at the week 2 game against Atlanta. You got the game going on. They almost blow the 3-possession game. Atlanta's coming back. It takes 2 pick sixes from Mike Edwards. The second one, which was kind of crazy, to really put that game away. They're up by 21 on the Eagles halfway through the third quarter just to have it trimmed to 5 points. So you're kind of seeing these Bucs. They get really ahead of the curve, but, like we said with a lot of teams in the AFC, are you sustainable for 4 quarters, at least for 3.5? You got to play all 60 minutes of football, no question about that. And then you look with the Saints as well. I mean, they make the comeback just to throw a pick six and then get turned over on down. So, Tampa has shown you to where they'll jump out to the big lead, but they definitely let their ego get a little too big, and, the confidence kind of overrides what they should do for the rest of the game. But in terms of Buffalo, is the sky falling in Buffalo? The sky's been falling for Buffalo. I mean, I know they were my Super Bowl pick for the AFC coming in, but these guys, once about week 7 to week 10, they showed you that they were the same Buffalo Bills from December of last year. They're way too Josh Allen dependent. They're not getting any help from Josh Allen. You know how many running backs attempted a rush in the first half of that Bills game?
Josh Allen.
Exactly. No running back, no actual running backs that were on the depth chart for that position attempted a rush in the first half of that game. Buffalo's not physical. They have 0 pass rush. They are literally 28th in the NFL in sacks right now. And they're a one-dimensional team. You push them around, you make them uncomfortable, and they lean on Josh Allen way too much. And the fact that the Bills are showing you, again, that they are not built for the postseason. They're not built for December. It was a fluke that they got to the title game, in my opinion, last year. Yeah, they might win 3 or 4 going away, but look who they're going to have to face. You can push them around. If you take away Diggs and lock up Beasley a little bit, you're going to get to a secondary that's going to give you issues. What are you going to do then, Sean McDermott? I already said it last week. The chemistry is already too interwoven. It's too late to make a change or to go get somebody. So I think the Bills are dead in the water right now. I'm sold all my stock on Buffalo.
Hey, not mad at that at all. I mean, as far as Tampa Bay looking beatable, I think they're kind of just playing possum just a little bit. They're in cruise control.
Kind of like KC last year.
I mean, they haven't rolled very many teams all season. Right. They ran through Atlanta, Miami, Chicago, and the Giants. Outside of that, all the rest of those games have actually been tight, whether they were tight all the way through, they got a big lead and lost it and then pulled it out, or they got behind and came back. But at the end of the day, they have been consistently just handling the ends of games. And I mean, when you got somebody like Brady out there, you always know you can trust him when the game starts to get tight. See, we got folks, shout outs from New Jersey.
I know, right? Shout out David Williamson. How you doing, brother?
See, I mean, I'm not really worried about Tampa just because of what they bring to the table and the fact that, when they started to kind of dip a little bit, they had a lot of key players missing. AB is still out. Gronk was out. I mean, they were kind of depleted at the wide receiver spot, and it showed because, I mean, we do know that Brady went to Tampa because they had the weapons. They had all the requisite weapons. They gave him all the control he wanted. Now he can talk and do whatever he wants to. He's got sitcoms and shows and everything else out every 15 seconds. So, I mean, they're just on something different. Mm-hmm. As far as Buffalo, the Bills have consistently shown us that they cannot stop the run. They can't figure it out. Leonard Fournette has not been going for 100-plus a game. And he could have run for much more. Tampa just was that's not really our game. We're going to run on you, but we're going to throw too. Because they can do whatever they feel like on pretty much any defense in the league because they have too many weapons for you to stop them. But Buffalo is predictable.
100%.
And now they got their fans crying about the pass interference call with the no call for Stephon Diggs.
Don't talk to me.
I mean, they're talking about the no call. It's hey, Diggs initiated the contact, and then they didn't call the retaliation, which it was a good no call.
Welcome to December where it's a playoff implication game. The refs are going to swallow the whistles. That's no surprise.
Yeah, I mean, it was questionable as to whether Leonard Fournette got that first down on third down, but, I mean, it looked like the ball was so close to the point where I felt like he got it.
Exactly.
And especially if you call it a first down initially, you're not going to overturn that because it was too close.
Tampa's at home. They're getting that call.
And then on top of it, you got the ball first in overtime.
Exactly.
You couldn't score. And then you got hit with a 58-yard walk-off touchdown.
That's right.
And at the end of the day, all we have to show for that is Tom Brady still owns you.
Mm-hmm.
10 straight meetings against Buffalo, now including his time in Tampa.
Yep.
he has not lost to the Bills.
Yep.
You know what the one loss was before that?
When he didn't play in the second half, right?
It was a Week 17 game where they already had clinched home field advantage in 2014.
Yep.
And he only started the game, so it counted against his win-loss.
Right.
It's like he owns the Bills. They're talking about they named the Bills after Belichick. They named them after him, too. Mm-hmm. You got two daddies. I'm done with Buffalo. Let's move on. San Francisco pulled out a nail-biter against the Cincinnati Bengals. I mean, they came out, looked like they were handling them. They were up 20-6 at one point in that game in the third quarter. Let Cincinnati steamroll back behind Jamar Chase and a couple of he let them know why he is still a Rookie of the Year candidate. But ultimately, Jimmy G, he took him on a late fourth quarter drive that would have been the game-winning drive, but Robbie Gould missed the field goal.
Yep.
And then just like Buffalo, Cincinnati got the ball in overtime first, could not convert, and then they lost because Jimmy G did it back-to-back drives, took him down the field, put him in field goal range, and was like, bruh, take it away.
Yep.
So, I mean, what would we take away from this game? Like, what is the actual ceiling for the San Francisco 49ers?
Right, man. And, we've seen this Niners team before, even if it is only one season. When they were healthy, they were Super Bowl contenders. They were far and away what everybody thought next to Baltimore, the best team in the NFL, and they were up on the Chiefs in the Super Bowl for all of 3.5 quarters, basically. But this is this is a divisional round. If this offense can truly stay polished, because they have spurts to where they want to show you that they can run the play action and they can get Deebo Samuel, and they can get those running backs going with that true, Shanahan core style of play. But then they can also, like the other day, go for 5 for 13 on third down. And 10 of their 26 points came off muff punts from Cincinnati. That's not a break that you're going to get every single game. And although Garoppolo, of course, is great at times, he can limit the creativity of the offense. He's not going to, make a play with his legs. He's not going to, he does have good decision-making, but, if the pocket gets muddy, if he gets pressure on him, it's going to get a little rough for Jimmy G down in the trenches. But we've seen that throughout his career, and that's not really necessarily a surprise at this point in the season. But, they're hurting at running back, no question. And I think that's a lot of the reason why we've seen this offense not be able to be what it's been before. Is this is a Kyle Shanahan ran team. This is a Mike Shanahan type of offense. This is a team that, over the last few years, they're consistently running the ball more than anyone in the NFL. The year of the Super Bowl, they ran the football almost 60% of the time. That's the reason Jimmy G threw, 6-9 passes in the NFC title game? I mean, less than 30 passes the whole playoffs. It's because he didn't have to. Kind of like Mac Jones right now in New England. Keeping it simple for him. He's not going to be a major playmaker. The decision-making is great, but if he can manage the game and allow the pieces around him, like a George Kittle, now speaking about San Francisco, like a Deebo Samuel, like a Kyle Juszczyk, like an Elijah Mitchell when he's healthy, San Francisco can absolutely go to the divisional round in the NFL. And again, speaking about the running backs, so you're talking about they literally had two guys available, one of which was Deebo Samuel, who plays wide receiver, by the way. He has a 27-yard explosive run, and then after that, they don't really have any production on the ground in this game. And believe it or not, so, a lot of people predicted that when the running back room kind of got shaken up, that, hey, Jimmy G is going to have to step up and really take this team and, propel them to that next level. And the Niners have a 15% better success rate when they start the drive out with a pass. And for some of you who might not know what success rate is, it's basically efficiency measured by down and distance. So if it's 1st and 10, you should at least be getting 4 to 6 yards of play. If it's 3rd and short, you should be getting, 80 to 90 yards of that play. It's just a measure of efficiency for NFL teams right now. And again, although it's only been one time, when the Niners are healthy, they're scary. I mean, you got George Kittle out here eating dudes up. You've got an amazing backfield when they're healthy. Jimmy G won't necessarily lose you a game. And the dude was 6 for 6 in overtime. 6 for 6. Absolutely perfect. No flinching, no questionable decision-making, anything like that. So I definitely think the divisional could be the ceiling for this Niners team, but that's the ultimate ceiling. Probably a wild card, maybe one and done. But, I mean, if they're, playing week before the NFC title game, I'm really not shocked at this point.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I 100% agree with you on that. I mean, I figured San Francisco, they left on their schedule. They got Atlanta, Tennessee, Houston, and the Rams.
Yep.
I mean, from what we've seen, they could win all 4 of those games. Definitely should go 3-1 in that stretch. They'll finish 10-7.
Yep.
Definitely, that's going to get them in the playoffs, a wild card, depending on who they play in the first round. I mean, that the divisional round is not out of the question for San Francisco at all. And to my man Kevin Keith, who called my Patriots hat MAGA, kick rocks. It's not. Let me know who your team is.
It's because it's red. He's a hater at the end of the day.
I can't even properly be petty with you because I don't know who your team is. Identify yourself, sir. Let me know who you rocking with. Man, we done with the San Francisco. We going to move on. We got one more game before the Kobe break comes. We going to hit this right quick. The LA Rams, they ran through. Who we got? The Rams beat Arizona. Like, you almost just threw me all the way
Right,
off.
MAGA hat. He don't even know the lineup. Y'all, and the lineup's in front of us, man. Come on, people.
The Rams held off the Arizona Cardinals. Monday night game. Crazy game. The Rams were handling that game pretty much wall to wall. Arizona tried to make a late push. Too little, too late. They screwed me on the over with that stupid field goal pick. Yeah. I'm highly upset with Arizona right now. But after losing 3 of their last 4, are the LA Rams finally getting a little spark that they need for a postseason run?
Maybe, potentially. It could be a little start of something for them. And, this was a much-needed win, no doubt about that. You're missing 6 starters. You don't have Jalen Ramsey. You're missing some of your key guys that you would like to see out there on the field for L.A. But they started this game out perfectly, getting Aaron Donald. Ironically, Aaron Donald had the first defensive play and the last defensive play of the game. You start the game out with the sack, and you end the game with another sack when Kyler Murray to take it home. Another 3-sack day for Aaron Donald, and he should no question be in the running. Unfortunately, again, for Defensive Player of the Year. They bottled Kyler up, and I know Kyler threw for almost 400 yards. I don't care about that. In my opinion, Kyler didn't look like Kyler Murray that whole game. No touchdowns, 2 picks, 72 passer rating, and you could just feel it in this game. The Rams had the energy the entire game. Kyler was running around a good bit, and like Kingsbury's offense kind of didn't look like Cliff's offense out there. I mean, it was pretty concerning because I know you picked the Rams last week, but I thought the Cardinals were going to take it. I wasn't expecting a 37-20 early season win, but I mean, I expected Arizona to come out and win this football game. And, Matthew Stafford, and I know some people might disagree with me, this is the biggest win of his career. And I know it's funny because it's in the middle of the season. He's never won a playoff game.
No playoff wins.
Exactly. He only had, 3 winning seasons in Detroit? 287 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks, 109.2 rating, which is the second best rating he's had of the year. And another crazy stat here for y'all. So this is the first career win against a 10-win team, and also his first win against a team that's at least 5 games or better above 500 right now. And they finally have a signature win. We're not talking about the Jags, the Texans, the Lions, the Giants. I get it. They beat Tampa in week 2 or 3. Tampa had no starting day corners. Okay. They were absolutely decimated defensively. And they've lost to the Packers, the Titans, the Niners, the Cardinals. Like, it was about time they got a signature win under their belt. I still don't trust Stafford later on in the year. I'm not going to, absolutely jump on one win. But this could be a little something that they needed to get a spark going, like every fan base or the fan base of Los Angeles did.
I mean, it's possible. I'm just highly skeptical just because I've already seen this out of the Rams this season.
Right.
They treated that week 3 game against Tampa Bay like it was the Super Bowl, and then they had a massive meltdown the following week against Arizona.
Pissed all down their leg.
They did, all over it.
Pissed all down their leg.
I mean, what I'm looking for out of the LA Rams now, before I'm actually going to give them real credit, I mean, they're definitely a team that can win games. I mean, they have the talent across the board where they should be straight up Super Bowl contenders. But what I need to see out of them is the consistency. Can you play that well in back-to-back weeks? I need to see a comeback. You're playing a Seattle team that is finally trying to figure something out. But Seattle, for all intents and purposes, they're done. They're the worst team in that division. They're having a terrible season. It looks like Russ might be on his way out the door. Pete Carroll could possibly be on the hot seat. So there's no excuse for you to come out and wet the bed against the Seattle Seahawks. If they come out and play the way they have been playing following a big win and lose to the Seattle Seahawks, then I'm going to sell every single bit of stock that I never bought on the LA Rams.
It's not a good hold. It's not a good buy.
I don't have any stock anyway.
Right. We never bought it.
I didn't buy it from the beginning of the season, not buying it now.
Yep.
And for those that watched that, I've gone way too far. Kobe break.
We'll still hit it.
Count that thing down.
3, 2, 1.
Kobe. Rest in
RIP to the
peace to
Mamba.
the Black Mamba.
The lady asked me this morning. She said, what time is it?" And it really was 8:24. I was like, "It's 8:24." Kobe laid in bed, like still had the blankets on and everything. Man, I had to give tribute. You know, I had to.
Hey man, we played Dirty Santa this weekend at the Christmas party, and when they got to number 24, they called it out. They're like, "Who has number 24?" Had to do it.
Of course,
Kobe.
had to.
Everybody's like, "What the hell?" I was like, "Yeah, I had to do that."
Yeah, you don't know. It's okay.
You say 24, I'm gonna yell Kobe. It's mandatory.
Yep.
Got to do that. Man, Mike Beasley. Let these folks know who pays the bill. Everybody out there in Petty Nation, y'all keep it locked. We got a lot more hot show for you.
Yes, sir. Appreciate that. Famous Facts, Fees, and Adam Lewis. Ladies and gentlemen, you tune in to Petty Sports, brought to you by KINGZ Broadcasting Studios, right here every Wednesday night, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you so much for tuning in. Everybody's in the chat room, keeping it live. Keith, you know what I'm saying? See you out there, man. Thank you, a newcomer. Hadn't seen you in there before, but appreciate it. Miss Sharper. I saw my guy YPK off in there, Mr. Graham. You know what I'm saying? So thank you guys, David Williamson. Everybody, share the show. Thank you so much for your support. Could have been anywhere else in the world tonight, but you right here with the crew at the table, making it do what it do. Feel free to call in at 678-871-9602. That number one more time, 678-871-9602. That's how you can be a part of the show tonight, live and direct, right here with the guys at the table. Give us your thoughts on what's been discussed so far. You know what I'm saying? And we'll give you the feedback, or they'll give you their feedback. So appreciate that greatly so much. Go to the different podcast platforms, Apple, Google, Spotify. You know what I'm saying? And download the shows that are previously aired. This one will be up by Wednesday, I'm sure. So, you know, you can listen to it in your car, you know, share it with some of your buds, you know, like, hey, man, these guys right here popping on Wednesday. You know what I'm saying? You might need to check them out. Follow them on Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, Book of Face, Fedbook, YouTube, all that, man. Hit the subscribe button, notification bell, thumbs up, all that good stuff. So anytime these guys go hot, the show goes live, you will be notified. It will not miss a beat. So we greatly appreciate everybody that's out there sharing the link tonight. Continue to share the love for the Petty Sports crew. And on those different platforms, remember, Petty Sports with a Z on the end. Type that in. They're all over the place, man. So if you don't see them, you ain't looking. You know what I'm talking about? Support black business. Support black business. Support black businesses. Because we do. ATL.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are back, and we're going to come back on a slightly more somber note. Didn't quite want to start there, but I know all of you have heard by now. Former Denver Broncos tight end Demaryius Thomas passed at age 33. I mean, the reports say that it was likely from seizures. He had been having them frequently over the past year or two. But, I mean, it was a sad day just to hear about that. I mean, he's so young. I mean, the dude is younger than me and is out of there. It's just like, man, we just look back on that man's career. I mean, Super Bowl 50 champion on that Denver Broncos team that just straight carried Peyton to a Super Bowl.
Yep.
And I mean, one of the most memorable plays from Demaryius Thomas's career was at the height of Tebow mania.
Yep.
In the wild card round against Pittsburgh in overtime, caught the game-winning walk-off touchdown to send Pittsburgh packing in a game where he had 204 yards receiving on just 4 receptions.
Jesus.
And he ate them alive, just big play after big play after big play. It's crazy. But I mean, in his career, the dude had just a touch under 10,000 yards receiving, 63 regular season touchdowns, another 6 in the postseason, and 759 yards. Had a Super Bowl touchdown. He did score the only touchdown in that 2013 Super Bowl, Super Bowl 48. I mean, he was the only spark of offense. I mean, I don't even have too many words for his untimely passing. I mean, it really sucks.
It was tough, man. And I was actually one of the rare occasions that I was on ESPN watching First Take. You know, Stephen A. has a new guest in every day or every Friday, whatever it is. So it was like a day or so, you know, a little while, not very long after Demaryius had passed. And it was actually the anniversary of that touchdown pass, or like getting very close to the anniversary of that touchdown pass that he had to Demaryius for the overtime win. And Molly and Stephen A, excuse me, they were like, it's no coincidence that this is the day that, we picked you to come on the show. And, it's horrible to see, man. I mean, when the news broke, I believe it was Saturday night, Friday night, Saturday night, so somewhere around like 12:30 in the morning.
Yeah, late night.
Because I saw a tweet about it, and I was like, why would someone troll like that? And I click in, and it's just, you see the story overflowing, and you think about a legend's career and a guy who made Manning better, a guy who Manning made better. They literally sowed into each other's light. And you see the outpouring of just, so many athletes, so many people, especially around the NFL, just saying like, this was, of course, very tough for them to have to understand, and there's not much really more we can say about the passing of Demaryius Thomas, but I know he'll rest in peace. I know he'll live a great life and, be much more at ease. And we truly lost a legend. Way too young, man.
Yeah, man. That's some tough news, man.
Yep. Life is way too short. It's unpredictable. You should make the best of everything, man. It can always be worse. 100%.
The Broncos-Lions game, they paid a nice tribute to him. It was really dope. First play of the game on Sunday, they only sent 10 men out on the field for Denver to pay tribute. No tight end in the lineup. They took the delay of game call, and then Detroit declined the penalty to let the clock run. Had to just go ahead and just give him that show.
Yep.
So, they paid him his due respects. In one of the best ways that they could. There's not a lot that you can do.
Right.
But at least they did what they could to actually show their respects to that man. So, big ups to Denver and Detroit for that show on Sunday.
Highly agree with you, man. It was very tough to see.
Yeah, man. So we're going to keep this thing to football, but we're going to move it onto the college football world. So I know most of you listening heard the news. We heard the news. Shocked the entire college football world. Number 1 recruit, Travis Hunter.
Best player in the nation.
Decommitted from Florida State to let the world know that he's going to play for Jackson State University with none other than Coach Prime. And he did it with all kind of drama and style.
Yep.
He put on the Georgia hat, said, I look good in that, and then he threw it over there. Then he put on the Florida State hat, which he had formerly committed to. Florida State has a video on their YouTube page welcoming him in. A full video. All his highlights and everything, decommitted to Florida State, threw that hat away, put on the Jackson State University hat one time for the HBCUs, officially becoming the first 5-star recruit to commit to an HBCU. So, how amazing is that to see the number 1 high school recruit in the nation commit to an HBCU?
It's absolutely amazing, man. Not to be so, I guess, blunt about it, but you got to break the standard. Okay, you have to. This was why he did this. He wanted to break the standard. He wanted to, keep those Alabamas, those Georgias, those Notre Dames, those Floridas, all those big time schools. He wanted to show them, hey, like, it's time for other colleges to get their spotlight. It's time for other places to get their chance, because we're not talking about number 10, 15, top 200. The number 1 recruit in the nation for college football commits to a budding HBCU to go play for Coach Deion Sanders. What a win for Prime. What a win for the college. And, this is just going to obviously put that HBCU more on the map. It's going to bring a lot of awareness to Jackson's. I almost said Graham Lake State. I don't know why, thinking about Hugh Jackson's new job. It's going to bring a lot of spotlight, to Jackson State. And it's just going to be great to see overall. He is definitely he's just trying to do something that nobody's ever done before. You said it. This is the first 5-star to ever do it. Really just trying to shed a light. And mean, it's a great move to see. This is going to definitely be, I feel like, a trend that we see later on down the road. It's more of like, when someone talks about taking the leap and changing their life. He took the leap and changed the landscape, and I have all the respect for him. I think he's absolutely going to tear it up, and the kid will probably be going to the NFL. I mean, number one recruit, going to be playing for an awesome HBCU. He's going to get recruited, which is just going to get, by the NFL, which is just going to get other guys exposed. It's going to get more, the Savannah States out there and things of that nature. So I love to see it. I mean, hats off to him, and let's go, man. Let's see what this turns into. I'm super excited for it.
Absolutely. I mean, I love the fact that you mentioned Savannah State as the other HBCU point of reference, because that is my alma mater, SSU. You can get anywhere from here. So, man, like it's like monumental for the landscape. And we talked about this beforehand. Like when Deion first took the job at Jackson State, we're like, this could completely change the landscape of college football. If you can get the top-ranked black recruits to commit to HBCUs, it will change the power structure of college football. If he can get more recruits like this to follow in his footsteps, all of a sudden you have schools like Jackson State, you have schools just like Grambling that you mentioned, Savannah State, Howard, FAMU, all across the board. When these schools start really loading up the talent, they'll be on par with the top teams in the nation and be able to compete. I'm pretty sure they'll be scared to actually schedule them, but there will at some point be an argument about having the college football national champion that's crowned play against the HBCU champion, because those teams are going to be that good if the trend continues in that direction.
100%, and that's what they're pushing for.
Yeah, because I mean, this dude, Travis Hunter, is a 6'1", 165-pound corner, top corner in the country, out of Collins Hill High School in Georgia, up in the Swanee. That's north of Atlanta, not North Atlanta, not in the city. It's a pretty good bit north. But I mean, the dude had offers from Florida State, UGA, Alabama, Clemson, Auburn, LSU, Oklahoma, Michigan, Texas, Florida. Everybody wanted this dude.
Yep.
Did we name all the teams in the playoff? Yeah, every single one of them except Cincinnati, because they knew they wasn't going to get him.
Yep.
But outside of that, everybody in the playoff offered this man a full ride because they all wanted him. His pro player comparison is Charles Woodson. Like, he's trending on that level, because on top of him being the top corner recruit in the country, he was also a top-flight wide receiver. I mean, the dude had over 3,600 yards and 46 touchdowns in his high school career as a wideout, and he got recruited as a corner. He had 19 picks as a cornerback. And people were not throwing the ball at him. Like, when you just look back and just check the film on him, the dude has amazing ball skills. He's a straight-up ball hawk. Every jump ball, he wins it. Amazing hands. I mean, like, I seen him catch all kind of one-handers, just picking them out of the air. Mm-hmm. He must have, like, those Michael Jordan-sized mitts to just be grabbing the ball like that. And he's a straight-up shutdown corner. So, I mean, you got this dude out here at Jackson State. He's going to convince more people to come. Clearly, Deion has convinced him to come. So I think this is an amazing thing for college football from the HBCU landscape. Can't wait to see how this unfolds. They had Jackson State had a great season this year. Now they're bringing in more recruits. What's coming down the pipeline? Can't wait.
This is bigger than any this is bigger than any highlight we've probably seen in college football. This is bigger than any commitment, any signing, this is arguably the biggest move in college football history. Let's just call it how it is. This has never happened before. I mean, just think about it. In 1 year, we have NIL. We have Texas and Oklahoma going to the damn SEC, and we've got the first ever 5-star recruit to go into an HBCU. This has been a beautiful college football season. I can't wait to see what happens over the next 5, 10, 20 years for the landscape, man. It's going to be awesome to see, truly. I'm blessed to witness it.
Absolutely. Put them back on the map.
Exactly, brother.
Yes, sir. And I know some of y'all probably didn't watch, but for those of y'all who do rock with it, Saturday night, the UFC landscape and the whole world was rocked. Julianna Pena did the unthinkable. She stopped Amanda Nunes in the second round by a rear naked choke. Nobody saw that coming.
Nope.
The Vegas odds were through the roof. Amanda Nunes was undeniably the GOAT of women's UFC.
Mm-hmm.
and she went down in the second round damn near without a fight.
Yep. Some people say she quit. Some people say this is the biggest upset in UFC history. Joe Rogan himself said that after the fight.
Yeah, I mean, considering where Julianna was coming into this fight, I mean, we've had undefeated fighters coming in.
Yep.
So, I mean, Amanda's not undefeated, but the stature that she was at, I mean, 12 title defenses. She beat everybody in the game.
Oh, 100%. She, like you said, she was the GOAT. She still is, but.
You want Valentina, you want Rousey, you want Holmes, you want Cyborg. Amanda beat them all. And Julianna's lost to some of them.
Yep.
So, I mean, how is Julianna actually able to solve this impossible puzzle that is Amanda Nunes?
Well, you know, and we've seen this a little bit with Nunes, and as she's went throughout her career. So weirdly enough, she is very confident in her game, but she loves to switch up weight classes. I believe we have a caller here on the Petty Sports Hotline. I probably already know who it is, but we appreciate you calling every week. Caller, who are you? Where are you calling from? Hello. Bueller.
What's up, caller? Caller, you on air. What's up? Holla at us.
What's happening, man? What you doing? We might need to get him a call back. I feel like so. All right, we'll keep rolling. No worries. So, you know, Nunes has liked to change weight classes here recently. She loves jumping from one weight class to another. And, you know, it might not be a major change for her body, but at the end of the day, you know, these are UFC fighters. These are guys who literally, I mean, blood, sweat, and tears, every ounce, every movement absolutely matters. So I think, you know, some of her cardio might be affected, and a lot of people might not know, but she's just recently coming off of COVID. Like, her lungs are probably feeling different. She's
can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you now, Ken. Say, I knew it was you, brother. What's happening, man? How you doing tonight? Welcome into the show. I don't think you can hear us. Ken, can you hear us? Caller.
Yeah.
You can hear us, Ken?
No,
Are you talking to me?
Can you hear me?
Okay, cool. So I wanted to talk about the NIL and the HBCUs and how they're benefiting. Now, here's the thing. I want the over and under on how long you think it'll take them to change the rules back, because now the level, the field is being level. Mm-hmm. I went to Morehouse College, but I got HBCU love across the board. Mm-hmm. Shout out to Savannah State. Yes, shout out to Morehouse. Shout out to Jackson State. I'll even rock a Jackson State sweatshirt.
Oh,
but
absolutely.
You know, the Power Fives are getting talent plucked left and right. Now you see what we can do when we depend on each other.
That's right, man. I love to see it.
The over-under on that, I would say 4 years. I would put it at 4.5, so it's not an even number, so the house can't win.
Yeah.
But I'll give you 4.5 years, which would give time for more recruits to start following in his footsteps and then start to actually change the landscape before something is done about it. There's no justification to change it because it just came. So it would have to get at least a 4 or 5 year run, which that would be right on that 5-year cusp before they started to try to alter the rule. And I understand exactly what you're getting at with that. And that was actually brought to my attention as a probable issue earlier today, as I was talking to other folks that also went to HBCUs about what will be done about trying to stop this from happening.
Yeah. Okay, so
right.
I hate to be a little ignorant to the topic. What rule are we talking about specifically here?
They're saying they will alter the scope of the NIL for players being able to get paid on their images and likenesses based off the fact that they're not going to the Power 5 schools.
And the transfer portal, which, like I say, Jackson, the cat from UCLA just transferred to Grambling from UCLA. I think is I forgot his name, but he's a quarterback. He's a quarterback for UCLA. He just transferred to Grambling State.
Okay. Yeah, I'll probably side with Feezer. I'd say 4.5, 5 years, somewhere around there. It's going to take some time to get it worked in. You know, like you said, NIL is brand new. You know, this commitment just happened, so it's going to take a little bit of rippling, you know, waves throughout the community and the landscape, like we mentioned before. It gets flipped, but it'll be great once it happens. It'll come sooner rather than later, I think, from a lot of people thinking.
What the NIL does is erases the advantage that the bigger schools have and what they can offer players to come there.
Right.
You can now get alumni, businesses that are local, even bigger brands when you got a player as big as Travis to come to your school. He's going to have major sponsors throwing stuff at him, and he can take it, so it doesn't matter.
Right.
He doesn't have to go to Alabama to get that. He doesn't have to go out to Southern California. He doesn't have to go to Texas. He doesn't have to go to Michigan. He can get it at Jackson State.
Right. That's just going to be another major change.
At
It's
some
coming.
point, it's not unlikely that something is attempted to be done about erasing the small schools' leverage in that situation to keep those players in that pipeline going back to the schools that they want them at.
Yep. Totally agree with you, Fees. Very well said.
So, you know,
Yeah, hey man, you guys are tight, man. Keep up the good work.
I appreciate it. Is this Kevin? Is that your name?
Yeah, this is Kevin in Phoenix. Yeah, I went to Morehouse College.
Oh, that's
All right, that's
awesome,
what's up.
man. We got Phoenix listeners. We got Jersey listeners. Hey, man, we really, really appreciate you calling into the show. Please feel free.
I'm following you, bro. I'm a mess with y'all.
Absolutely.
all right. Hey, appreciate the love, man.
We appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
All right.
All right, so yeah, man, we didn't hit the 8:45 mark. We're going to throw this thing over to my man Mike Beasley one more time so he can let you know who pays the bills around here at KINGZ Broadcasting and Petty Sports. And when we come back, we got the power rankings coming into Week 15. Keep it locked.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. You are watching Petty Sports, brought to you by KINGZ Broadcasting Studio. And at the table tonight, you have Famous Facts Fees and Adam Lewis doing their thizzle like always, going in on the hardest, latest, and greatest sports topics there is out there, right? You know what I'm saying? So as you can see, you know, the show is jumping tonight. The chat room is on. The phone call is in. We got people from across the country, from the east to the west coast, checking in on the show, man. We appreciate that. You guys share the show, share the link with some of your good buds and some of your girlfriends out there. Not good bud, like, you know what I'm saying? You know what, with your good buddies. That's what I should have said.
Damn, Bell.
But if you like to smoke a little something, you know, if you want to have a little bud while watching the show, it'll go down that much easier. You know what I'm saying? So call in 678-871-9602, 678-871-9602. That's how you can be a part of the show tonight. You know what I'm saying? So continue going off in that chat room. Go to the different platforms: Apple, iHeart, Spotify, Google. Type in Petty Sports with a Z, and you can find the shows that have previously aired right there. And stay tuned for this show in another day or two. So subscribe to the YouTube page, Petty Sports with a Z. Once again, book a face with a Z, Petty Sports with a Z. Like, follow, hit that notification bell, hit the thumbs up emojis and all that good stuff, man. And we greatly appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? Go to KINGZBroadcasting.com. The Kings is with a Z too. You know, we're a little infatuated with these Z's, as you know what I'm talking about.
But don't be Zing on us.
Yeah, don't be Zing. Don't be zigging when you're supposed to be zagging.
That's
you know
right.
what I'm talking about? So go to KINGZBroadcasting.com. This is the holiday season. We have a lot of great items over there that you can purchase, you know what I'm saying, for somebody that they make real nice gifts. Got hoodies, t-shirts, tumblers, mugs, you know what I'm saying? So go over there and check us out, KINGZBroadcasting.com. And also, you know, as a little side note, down at the bottom of the page, right there on the home page, it's a little box that says donation. You can hit that donation button, and no donation is too big or too small to give to help us keep bringing forth this great content to the show every week, you know what I'm saying, and keeping the equipment service. You know, there's a lot of stuff going on in here, man. So check us out. We're on TikTok, Twitch, Instagram, Twitter. We appreciate the love, man. You know what I'm saying? Jamila, Kevin, who just called in, everybody else, we see you out there.
We got a Minnesota viewer tonight too, man.
Hey, what's happening? Boy, I know it's super cold up
in
there.
our house.
Yeah,
sir.
yeah.
Don't talk about the
Appreciate
Vikings, sir.
that. There it is. So we appreciate it, man. Support black business, support black business, support black businesses, because we do ATL. Hold now, back to the regular script program.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are back. It's that time of the program going into Week 15. We got to get you some power rankings. 4 weeks left in the NFL season. It's been everything and even more than expected. Some teams crashed. Some teams came up. This year has been off the chain. The power rankings change every single time we do it.
And these are very
If you do
different
your
this
own,
week.
they're different. But we about to give you the petty sports power rankings going into week 15. Adam's going to start you off. Start from 10, come up to 1. Let us know how you got there. Where you at?
Absolutely, man. So a little disclaimer before I get into the power rankings. This list here, let's call it less power rankings for Adam and more of the top 10 teams he truly trusts at this point in the NFL season. Everyone's played 13 games. Everybody's been injured. Everybody's got a flaw. Okay, everybody knows who everybody is. It's not this September, October anymore. Let's start at number 10. Is a
disclaimer.
Right. As much as I wanted to put a, San Francisco, maybe a Baltimore or potentially even a Cincinnati in there, because of this team's defense, I got to go with the Buffalo Bills. They're still holding it down on the defensive side of the ball. I know they're 7-6, but when they get going, they truly get going. I know Josh Allen's been a little fugazi this year, not really being consistent, and they're beating up on a lot of bad teams. But at number 10, talking about trusting these teams walking in to Week 15, give me the Buffalo Bills. Now at number 9, shout out to you, Alan. Love that you're watching tonight. The Tennessee Titans, and because y'all are going to be getting Derrick Henry back, because y'all are sitting at 9 wins in the AFC, and when that offense gets going with Julio Jones, with A.J. Brown, when Ryan Tannehill can really get comfortable in that pocket, the Tennessee Titans are a team that nobody wants to see at certain points in the season. They can make the big plays. They can bust up your front seven. They can play you defensively. They can get you with a pass rush, finally. So number 9 will be the Tennessee Titans. Number 8, give me the Los Angeles Chargers and Justin Herbert. They're absolutely starting to become trustable at this point in the season. After Thanksgiving, it seems like they've absolutely caught fire. You'd heard me talk about Justin Herbert and Brandon Staley, their relationship, the chemistry that they have there this season. And Brandon Staley was a much needed hire, earlier on in the year coming into this one. Anthony Lynn, definitely needed to get out of there. They're trying to win the close possession games. They're absolutely explosive on offense. Justin Herbert really might have the best cannon in the NFL right now. Dude continues to light it up week in and week out. Now, I know there's going to be a lot of complaints here, but we've seen what this team is. Let's not buy into them off of one game. And number 7, give me the Los Angeles Rams. And the reason they are so low is because Matthew Stafford is their quarterback, is because Sean McVay is trying to play a little bit of finesse offense. Look, I know about the 52-yard bomb to Justin Jefferson. I know Odell Beckham Jr. is starting to get his plays in this offensive system. 3 straight games with a touchdown. So they're definitely clicking offensively. But when we're talking about trusting people later on in the year, what is it going to come down to? Can Stafford make the big play? Can he make that type of adjustment later on in the postseason? I'm not buying in just yet. Not going to flip out about one win finally over a good team. At number 6, give me the Dallas Cowboys, and they should be higher on this list, but Dak Prescott's been struggling. Okay, Ezekiel Elliott, CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, they're still trying to gain their true health for this football team. And I know they're not as banged up as they used to be. But you look at, Dallas jump out to a major lead against Washington. Just to have Dak Prescott throw in awful pick 6 later in the game to basically let Washington come back into it. I don't know what Dak saw in that play. I mean, that was a Jameis Winston pick 6. Straight up. I'll sit here and say in a New Orleans Saints jersey, that was a Jameis Winston type of play. But the Cowboys defense, they are a little serviceable. Mike McCarthy's trying to rebuild some of that resume he had in Green Bay. Totally not sold on him either. Dak is good, maybe great. I don't think he's special enough to truly make you a play later in the game when it's not garbage time, when you got to come up and make a big play to advance you to the next round of the playoffs. At number 5, and I know they just played bad the other night against those Los Angeles Rams, but I'm still trusting Kyler Murray and Cliff Kingsbury right now. They would be higher if Cliff had more of a reputable NFL resume, if we knew that Kyler Murray, he plays consistently great football. There's no question about that. But it's a little bit of the durability now that we're starting to question. And I know he's not, extremely banged up, but there's been a couple times throughout the season where we've seen Kyler maybe not be 100%. We saw it last season. And when you're getting deep into it, talking about the Packers that you're going to see at the top, talking about the Bucs that you're going to see at the top. You're maybe even running into San Francisco at this point. I know they're battling for the 1 seed, but they still got a lot of football left to play. I trust Kyler. I trust Cliff. The defense is underrated. It's been budding all year. So at number 5, give me those Arizona Cardinals. Now at number 4, a team who has rebounded really defensively more than offensively. I still think they can right the ship when it comes later on. Give me the Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Andy Reid. We know who they've got over there. And now the defense has 5 straight straight games with 17 points or less. We are talking about an Aaron Rodgers-less Packers team and a Daniel Jones on the Giants and a couple of Raiders 40-point blowouts there. But this team, if they have to switch to it defensively, kind of like they did in the Super Bowl year when they finally run, being able to stop overall defense, the run, the pass, just trying to tighten up overall, I think the Chiefs can right the ship and by the end of the season be a top 5, top 4 team in the NFL. Now let's talk about the 3 teams who I truly believe in at this point. Number 3, I'm going to take your New England Patriots, man. I love what Bill Belichick's doing. I said it at the beginning of the year. Brady Belichick's not over. The dude's on a mission. He spent so much money in free agency, and it's paying off. You know, the days of, and I was guilty of it too, Bill Belichick can't draft. Okay, what about Christian Barmore? What about Mac Jones? What about some of the prior draft picks that are now starting to come forward? If he can't draft, fine. Free agency was absolutely insane. I had him as a top-ranked team after free agency. I'm keeping him at number 3. And if they go to the Super Bowl, if they win the Super Bowl, I will not be surprised because Bill Belichick is still the man over there. Now, number 2, give me the Green Bay Packers. And I know it seems a little steep for them, but they're playing well this year. They've got a defense. They got an Aaron Rodgers who, even though he might be a little banged up, he is still able to play good football. LaFleur is definitely building his resume. Devontae Adams continues to be maybe the best and most unguardable receiver right now in the NFL. But the defense is the big story. The fact that they're missing so many starters, the fact that they are able to play week in and week out and still look consistently like the same team the whole time. So at number 2, you know I got the Packers, but I haven't mentioned them yet at number 1, so you know it's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You know it's the GOAT Tom Brady, Tom Terrific. I trust nobody more in the big moment, in the postseason, more than Tom Brady. They're getting healthy. Lenny Fortunis is establishing his role right now in the offense. Gronkowski, of course. I mean, even without Antonio Brown, they're still playing good football, and I know they got a little bit of an ego issue to where they might scale back, but overall, definitely I have the Bucs at number 1. From 10 to 1, Bills, Titans, Chargers, Rams, Cowboys. From 5 to 1, Cardinals, Chiefs, Pats, Packers, Bucks. Those are my top 10 teams walking into week 15 of the NFL season. Your turn, my brother.
All right, I'm absolutely not mad at that. I actually only have one team different as far as the ones that are in the top 10.
Oh, I know who's out for you.
They're ranked a little differently, but only one team different. At number 10, I've got the L.A. Chargers. Justin Herbert, he's been playing lights out lately. Their strength of schedule is actually through the roof. Like, they really haven't played bad football teams.
Right.
Even the teams that they've played that you're like, they're all actually still in the playoff hunts. I mean, they've had tough games week in and week out. The only thing that they're missing is just the consistency piece, but they could definitely be a possible second-round team. They're going to make the playoffs. They'll possibly get to the divisional round. I could see them going there. They're not good enough to make it to the AFC Championship game, but they definitely are sitting in my 10 spot. Now, at 9, I've got the San Francisco 49ers. No, the injuries came and the injuries went. They were expected to be a top-tier team in the NFC. Now they have a healthy Jimmy. They got a healthy Kittle. They got a healthy Bosa. Deebo Samuel is doing his thing, running and catching the ball. And San Francisco is actually looking like the contender that we thought they were going to be. They've won 3 of their last 4 games, and they've got big wins. They beat the Rams. They beat Cincinnati and Minnesota. I mean, granted, Minnesota doesn't sound like a big win, but Minnesota's a really good football team. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, they've got good wins under their belt over the past 4 weeks. They're only progressing. I'm liking what San Francisco is cooking, and they've made my top 10. At number 8, I've got Wes Davis and the Tennessee Titans. They started like they were going to absolutely just run away with the AFC. But it was looking like it was Tennessee's year. And then down goes Henry and Julio and AJ. And everything just came to an abrupt halt. And, I mean, now they actually showed some resolve. I mean, they beat the Rams without Derrick Henry. They swept the Colts. They beat up on KC, just straight shut them down. I mean, they have probably the most impressive resume in the league, maybe next to Arizona as far as who they've beat. I mean, their availability is really the only reason that I have them all the way down to 8. Otherwise, I mean, if they had a healthy complement of players, they'd probably be in the top 3 or 4. But we don't know who's going to be available for them, so I can't put them any higher than that. At 7, got the Dallas Cowboys. Shaky 9-4. The schedule's been soft. Like, they have a really explosive offense, but, I mean, I don't know that we can actually just trust them against the teams that are ahead of them on the list. I mean, Zeke is banged up, so they're expecting Pollard to carry the load. He's been looking good, but, I mean, Dak has been making some untimely mistakes time and time again. I'm not sure that we can trust Dak in the playoffs. I mean, we'll have to see where Dallas goes, but they're still a top-tier team. They're still a contender. If they can get it together, they have a chance. But they're sitting at 7 for me. At 6, I've got the LA Rams. They finally got a signature win under their belt. But just as I said earlier, I'm really interested to see what they do after a big win, to see if they wet the bed against the Seattle Seahawks. So they can't go any higher than 6. Even though they just beat Arizona, I still have the Arizona Cardinals just a notch above them. It's because Kyler Murray is better than Matt Stafford. They have a better roster on both sides. They have bigger wins. We do know D-Hop is out for now the rest of the season, and Arizona is doing what they do every year, and they start slowing down towards the end of the season. So, I mean, we got to have a big eye out on what they do. So, man, in this top 4, at the 4th spot, the Kansas City Chiefs. Second biggest win streak in the NFL, behind the Patriots. If they could play the Raiders a few more times, they'd probably be leading in every stat category that there is known to man. But they've already got their 2 games. But outside of the Raiders, their offense hasn't looked like Kansas City. And I'm really waiting on the $500 million man to look like what he looked like when he earned the $500 million contract. So, I mean, this is not the Kansas City Chiefs team that we're accustomed to. This isn't the formula that they won their Super Bowl with. So until they start looking like what they're supposed to be on offense, I'm not all the way sold on Kansas City being at the top, but they've been winning games, so I can't scoff at it. At number 3, my New England Patriots. Defense, rushing, passing, complex schemes. Whatever this week calls for, that's what Belichick has the team do. I mean, they just figure out a way for each week how they need to win games. 7-game win streak. Top of the conference, undefeated on the road. They're the AFC favorite at this point, and it's really difficult to even argue. The only reason that they're not at least on number 2 on this list is because of Mac Jones. And he's not playing bad, but you got a rookie quarterback, and you had a game where you only let him throw 3 passes, so we can't just hang your hat on Mac. At number 2, got the Green Bay Packers. They've been rolling. Defense is actually showing a lot more life. They're showing up and showing out. Aaron Rodgers has been very consistent. We've got A.J. Dillon. He's balling out. Aaron Jones is starting to make a little comebacks. I mean, if he actually gets back to his normal form, they're going to be that much more difficult to stop. I mean, the only thing that the Green Bay Packers have left to do is show us that they can win the NFC Championship game.
100%.
Because we just don't trust you when you get right to the cusp. So that's really all that's left for him. I mean, at number 1, same as his list, really, my top 5 are the same, in the same order. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, absolutely in cruise control this season. They've just been picking teams off as they start to get their health back. No, they haven't been running through teams. They do have flaws, but they have the ultimate flaw hider in Tom Brady. He masks every issue that you have with your team so long as he's got enough weapons. So, I mean, at this point, I can't take anyone over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So you look at my top 10, I'm going to give you from bottom to top, the same as Adam did. Got the LA Chargers, the San Francisco 49ers, the Tennessee Titans, Dallas Cowboys, LA Rams, Arizona Cardinals, Kansas City Chiefs, New England Patriots, Green Bay Packers, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And that will round out the Petty Sports Power Rankings. We've made it to the top of the hour. We're going to throw it to Mike Bell. Then Adam's going to let us know what's popping. Y'all keep this thing locked. It's been an amazing show. We love y'all. Appreciate the callers, all the comments. Beezy, take it away.
Mike.
Sir, yes, sir. I got you over here. Brother Bees. Better late than never, right? Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. You are watching Petty Sports Wednesday Night Edition like you do every week at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with Famous Facts Fees and Adam Lewis at the table. Like every week, throwing down, giving their craziest and most wildest analysis and famous picks going in, all right? So if you want to be a part of the show tonight, get in the chat room or feel free to call in at 678-871-9602, 678-871-9602. That's how you can be a part of the show tonight and join the conversation. Go to the different platforms: Apple, Spotify, Google, iHeart, all that right there, man. Just type in Petty Sports and bing, 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 bing. They'll be right there. You can just load up the show, listen to it, share it, whatever you feel like doing. And stay with us, man. You know what I'm saying? Keep sharing the show. Thank you for joining. Thank you so much. Go subscribe to the YouTube page. Do us that big solid. Watch all of the shows are on there. All the shows and even some of the clips from the shows are there as well. So, just go over there, check it out, subscribe, hit the subscribe buttons, hit that subscribe button. You know what I'm saying? We trying to tickle that algorithm. You know what I'm talking about? So do us that big favor, and we'll greatly appreciate that. Everybody's in the chat room, still in there hanging out. Thank you so much. We see you. We see you. We see you. Yeah, man, it's live tonight. So, hey, without you, there is no us. All right? So support black business, support black business, support black businesses, because we do. ATL, ho.
Welcome back into Petty Sports, ladies and gentlemen. It is 9:05 Eastern time, a little bit past the top of the hour, but it's a 2-hour show. We still got 55 minutes to be in your ear, bug you. Don't forget, though, it's not about where Petty Sports is about where you listen. We're on every podcast platform, every social media platform, man. We really appreciate the Facebook love, especially lately. We have almost 3x'd our following in a little over or under 2 weeks, man. I mean, everybody's coming in. Everybody's subscribing to the YouTube. Videos are going crazy. We appreciate y'all, but don't forget to call the show, 678-871-9602. Fees, let's go ahead and hop in, man. So another silly coaching fiasco yet again for none other than yours truly, Justin Marville. I hope you're listening from the This Justin Sports Show. Urban Meyer, you were not a fan of this dude when he came to the NFL, and I totally agree with you. He was 100%, yes, on my head coach hot seat walking into the year, being a rookie head coach in the NFL. And after suffering his 11th loss of the year, he called out his coaching staff and say, hey, tell me why you deserve to be here. What have you done? What have you won in your career? This means so many things, but Fees, I'll start with you. How wild is this move, and how much longer does Urban Meyer truly have left in the NFL at this point?
This is an egregious move. Your college resume means absolutely nothing as an NFL head coach. You haven't won anything as an NFL coach. You're coaching in the professional league now. You can't go back and tell them about what you did at Ohio State, what you did at LSU, or where the hell else did he coach? I mean, but anyway, Urban Meyer, bruh, this does not count. You can't pull your college stuff to act like that's relevant for you to actually try your coaches. That's somebody should have slapped him. They should have straight up slapped him, tackled him. Urban Meyer should have got beat up. That was ridiculous.
Damn.
How much longer does he have? I'd say, how many more weeks are in the season? 4? Yeah. It should be that long.
Yeah.
They should keep him to the end of the season. Eric Bieniemy needs to be the next head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. They've already got a quarterback in place for him, so they have the requisite tools for him to come in and try to rebuild a franchise. Urban Meyer ain't it. Yep. He's got to go. He's done after this season.
100%. This is going to be another Freddie Kitchens, Cleveland Browns treatment, man. And I mean, you talk about all these guys coming from college. Urban, you've never been in the NFL before. Hey, look, I know I'm not a coach. Okay, I'm not saying I'd go in and win any NFL games, but you've won 2 games in your NFL tenure so far, and you're asking your assistants, your coaches, to justify why they should be under you and why you should play for this team, okay? Where do I start? Should I start with you pissing away Trevor Lawrence's rookie year? Should I start with you, having people now comparing, which is stupidly enough, Trevor Lawrence and Gardner Minshew's first 13 starts? Let's not even act like this is the exact situation. We have a caller coming in, and they are going to go off about Urban Meyer. Let's not even act like this is similar. This is desperation at deflection at its finest. At its absolute finest. Urban Meyer is absolutely going to be done in the NFL. What have you done so far in the NFL, Urban Meyer? Can I hear you in the show with this, man? Let's go off about Urban Meyer together. What you got to say tonight?
Pimpin' Ken in the house. What's poppin'?
What's going on, guys? I saw Urban Meyer pop up, and I had to jump on. I mean,
give us an earload, brother.
How are you going to call out every coach on your staff for their resume when what the hell have you done in the NFL?
Yep.
I mean, yes, there's no denying what he has done in college football. Not even, nothing wrong with being second best. I mean, Saban will always be the GOAT. No problem.
Yep.
As an Auburn fan, I'll say it. He is what he is. But Urban Meyer, come on, dude. You are single-handedly killing a generational talent in Trevor Lawrence.
Yep.
You are ruining that man. I'm a little bit older than you guys, so I remember back when the elder Carr brother was the tackling dummy for the Houston Texans.
That wasn't that
He
far
was
back.
an amazing quarterback, and his career got ruined in 4 seasons with the Texans, and he had to get a Super Bowl ring backing up Eli Manning.
Yep.
Not hating on him, it's just the truth. You are going to do the same thing to Trevor Lawrence, Urban Meyer. If I were Shad Khan, the owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, I would fire that man and take money from him to put aside for Social Security for Trevor Lawrence, because that poor dude is going to get killed in Jacksonville.
Damn.
I hope he's got a 401k. I hope he's got accidental death and dismemberment, because God forbid he ever run up against Khalil Mack or Aaron Donald or Von Miller. I mean, Grady Jarrett. I mean, pick anybody. I mean, for crying out loud, as soft as that offensive line, my old butt could get out there and probably sack Trevor Lawrence right now.
Yep.
It is sad. I can't believe it.
Yeah.
Trevor will stiff arm you and run you over, but I mean, at 2-11, you have no resume.
Exactly.
You can't call out anyone else's resume because you have 2 professional wins.
Yep.
And one of them is probably the most ridiculous win we've ever seen in life, because I still can't explain how the hell they beat Buffalo 9-6.
Yep. And,
Right.
And I don't want to, I'm going to, on a personal level with Urban Meyer, let's not forget about his fiascos in college. Let's not forget what he condoned. Let's not forget the stunts that he pulled. I'll be nice because I'll let all y'all go do the research. I'm not going to put his laundry out here, but let's not forget the whole fiasco, with the lady dancing in front of him with his, his wife singing and everything. This is not Trevor Lawrence. Urban Meyer is literally doing his best I don't want to be in the NFL anymore impression. You're ruining Trevor Lawrence. You lost the locker room forever ago. And with you calling out your coaches, this is deflection because you don't want to take accountability for the franchise that you're literally ruining in front of everybody's eyes. And you're desperate. And it goes back to the deflection. You can't take accountability, so you're going to put it on someone else. You're desperate enough to find answers that you're going to go and call out all these people. Urban, do you not understand that you had prime pickings for your staff if you wanted to? You could have done that. You did do that in some circumstances. So it's all on you for the team that you built. I mean, you're getting handed a generational talent, like you said, Ken, in Trevor Lawrence, and you are pissing away his rookie year. You're literally letting it run down your leg in your rookie season as a head coach in the NFL. It's absolutely horrible. And I mean, there's nothing more I can say about Urban Meyer. The locker room's been lost. He's going to get the Freddie Kitchens, Cleveland Browns treatment. I mean, this is absolutely horrible. And then he wants to be on radio or whatever saying, if they're leaking any sort of drama or whatever it may be, they're going to be fired. So that's your call? That's your call to let your staff go? That's new to me. I didn't know that. So, yeah, Urban Meyer definitely stinking it up right now. And, I mean, I think we put it on the Petty Sports page. Get in, loser. We got another franchise to set back for a decade. That is Urban Meyer's motto. That's what he's doing with the Jacksonville Jaguars. He needs to be gone after this season. He was on my hot list walking into this year, and people were asking me why. I said, go look at what he's done. Go look at his character. Go look at what he truly does when you start looking at Urban Meyer. So I'm right there with you, Fees. I'm right there with you, Pimp and Ken. It's time for him to go. I think he's got 4 more weeks. It's literally going to be Jaguars lose their 15th game. Urban Meyer is fired 2 seconds later. That's how it's going to go. Ken, we appreciate you calling in tonight, man. And don't ever hesitate to give a call back in, man. We appreciate you tuning in to Petty Sports tonight.
Will do, guys. Y'all keep doing what you do. Love the show. Love being on with you guys. Just keep up the good work. By the way, much love to DT88. Rest in peace.
Absolutely, man.
I'm out.
That was a tough one. We appreciate you, Ken. Poor Urban Meyer. There's so many people out there that want an NFL job, that would take an NFL job, but either way, man, we got to move on to the weekend watch. We have the Kansas City Chiefs on Thursday night, traveling to the Super Bowl 56 environment. Yes, we're talking about SoFi Stadium, and they are going to face off against those red-hot LA Chargers and Justin Herbert. Does Kansas City extend that win streak to 7, or do you think the Chargers give them a run for their money and keep their playoff hopes alive in the AFC West?
I think the LA Chargers pull out the season sweep of the Kansas City Chiefs. They beat them in week 3, 30-24. It was an ugly game for Pat Mahomes. He threw 2 interceptions. He absolutely blew that game because, the game was close. Justin Herbert was, as good as he possibly could have been. He threw for 4 touchdowns, 281 yards. He did all of what was necessary in that game.
Yep.
And the difference in the game was Pat Mahomes turning the football over. That defense is not going to be able to hold the LA Chargers. They're going to have a Pat Mahomes-like performance. Pat's going to have to summon the same Pat that plays against the Raiders every week against someone not named the Raiders. And I don't really think it's there. I'm not sold on what the Chiefs are doing because defense is not their game. Their defense has improved, but they cannot hang their hats on the defense. You paid Pat Mahomes $500 million to throw touchdowns. Where the hell is Tyreek Hill? When's the last time we said his name?
Yeah.
You got, your players are not hurt. They are not on the COVID list. They're just not performing. And I don't say this is the end of the Kansas City win streak. The LA Chargers are going to win tomorrow night.
I feel that, man. Yeah, looking at Tyreek Hill's stats now, he's got 2 games over 100 yards, well over 100 yards, though, when he hits the century mark. And only one more game outside of that where he's really flirting with it, and it looks like after he has a big game, he's kind of falling off. So it makes you wonder, what is Reed? What are Mahomes, trying to draw up for him? Now, having said all that, I'm going to throw you all off, but I am going to take Kansas City here to extend their win streak to 7. I don't think that Reed and Mahomes are going to let a second-year quarterback, and I know Justin Herbert's great, okay? There's no question what he did in his rookie year. There's no question what he's doing now, how he's taking the NFL by storm. But when you talk about, the Chiefs really needing a great win right now, really needing to have a worthy opponent that it's worthy saying, yeah, they've held their last 5 opponents to under 17 points. We're not going to be talking about a Daniel Jones. We're not going to be talking about a Jordan Love. We're not going to be talking about struggling with teams because the Chargers are red hot right now. If there's one thing that this game is going to come down to, I think it's, again, Fees, like you said, can Patrick Mahomes take care of the football? We know they're creative, okay? We know the defense is obviously popping off right now, and we know what the offenses can be with a Travis Kelce, with a Tyreek Hill, with a Clyde Edwards-Helaire once they get going. Now, if the Chargers really want to make this game tough for Kansas City, they're going to also have to stand up defensively, and I know that Kansas City's offense isn't necessarily flowing right now, but they can still be an offense that can give you, 35 to 40 points a game, and we saw what they've done to the Raiders both times. Yes, it is the Las Vegas Raiders, but we see teams all the time where they should put up numbers at an insane clip on certain inferior teams, and they don't. Kansas City is showing you that when they put their foot on the pedal, they will absolutely take it to the top, and I think Kansas City does that in this game. Can't give you a score prediction yet. I do think that they win this game, though, of course. Like I said, the Chargers are going to have to get a pass rush. They're going to have to get going early and often. And overall, LA, they just have to play one of their best games of the season because Reed, Mahomes is going to play one of their best games of the season. No question about that. So this is going to be an amazing divisional and amazing AFC West showdown. I do have the Kansas City Chiefs taking the W here, and it's got to be on the shoulders of Patrick Mahomes. I know the defense has kind of been coming around lately, but if Mahomes takes care of that ball, I think they'll be in good hands. Now let's move on to what Fees is going to have all eyes on come this weekend. We got the New England Patriots at the Indianapolis Colts and that big man, Jonathan Taylor. The Patriots are 6-0 on the road, which is absolutely impressive. Oh, there you go, 7-0 on the road, which is absolutely impressive. But look, Bill Belichick is the man. We know about that. Do you think New England now will push the overall win streak to 8, or can the Colts make a little more headway into this wild card race on a crazy Saturday night in the NFL?
It's absolutely going to be an 8th straight W for the New England Patriots. They're going to put 8 in the box. That's what Belichick's defenses always do, is take away your best player.
Agreed.
If your best player is your running back, then you can be rest assured that they're not going to let you run the ball. The level of defense that the New England Patriots have been playing through this stretch has been unprecedented, because most people are discrediting everything that Mac Jones has done on account of the defense. The defense has been playing lights out. No one has faith in Carson Wentz. They're going to force Carson Wentz to throw the football. When you do that, Carson will turn the ball over. The Patriots will roll over the Colts. And it's not a small task. I'm not saying that they're just going to blow them out of the water, because the Colts have put up 30-plus points in 8 of their last 9 games. They've been scoring. Even though they haven't been winning them all, even in the losses, they've been scoring 30 points. So, the Colts can put points on the boards, but that is highly predicated on the legs of Jonathan Taylor.
Yep.
You take Jonathan Taylor out of the equation and force Carson Wentz to make plays, this could possibly be the worst game that you've seen the Indianapolis Colts play the entire season. They're going to lose.
I absolutely agree, man. I do have New England here extending the win streak. And, you've said it multiple times, and we've always said it when it comes to Patriots, the Patriots and Belichick. They take away your number one move. They make you play left-handed. They make you play to a point where, okay, how do we adjust? What are we truly made of? What is our counterpunch? Can like I said, can we adjust in the middle of a game, at the end of a game? Whatever the case may be when Belichick starts working his magic. And there is going to be 7 in the box. There is going to be 8 in the box for Jonathan Taylor, because they can't let him cut up that front 7, because he has been the key to success here lately. I think if you talk about the Patriots overall having to develop a game plan to where they know Jonathan Taylor is not going to be active, that is 100% what it's going to have to be for New England. And I trust Bill, okay? I trust the coordinators. I trust the whole team. Everybody that's working for New England right now, they're going to build a great game plan to go up against Jonathan Taylor. Now, the ultimate question is, when Jonathan Taylor gets stopped, what does Carson Wentz do? Now, Carson Wentz has been playing good football this year for the Indianapolis Colts. Believe it or not, 22 touchdowns, 5 picks, a 96 passer ratings. It's one of the best seasons of his career, and even with them winning 4 of their last 6 and Jonathan Taylor being the focal point, he's still been having a little bit of involvement, or a decent amount of involvement, being the quarterback of this team for the Indianapolis Colts. Will Carson Wentz be able to see through a Belichick defense? Will Carson Wentz be able to take advantage of a Belichick defense? That's where it falls short in the reality of this game for the Indianapolis Colts at the moment, because Belichick's going to throw him so many schemes. Belichick is going to be out there just making it so tough for the Colts overall. I do have Belichick and Mac Jones winning this game. Mac Jones continues to win and impress everybody this year. And like you said, if they keep getting coached to success, Mac Jones is 100% going to be the rookie of the year with double-digit wins in his rookie year, and it's going to be absolutely insane to see. So I can't push back on you there. I got the Patriots winning this one. It will, I believe, actually, if I'm looking at the spread, the Colts are -2.5, which is pretty nuts for this game. I don't understand that at all. I get it, they're at home, so it kind of could be a pick 'em, but New England should absolutely be favored. So they're going to take the upset and give me the Patriots here in this one. Now, we got another great game here. And this is a battle of 2 really injured teams right now. You got the Packers traveling to Baltimore in a battle of injury-riddled heavyweights. And Lamar Jackson is expected to play despite getting injured last game. We saw how it went with the Browns trying to come back on them. Which banged-up team do you think takes home the victory? I know it's much needed for both squads this season.
It's absolutely going to be the Green Bay Packers. We already know that the Baltimore Ravens are only good for a quarter and a half of football each week, and that's with Lamar Jackson. It's doubtful that Lamar Jackson is actually even going to play in this football game, because they just brought up a quarterback. They signed a quarterback from the New York Jets practice squad. Anyone who plays for the New York Jets practice squad probably couldn't start for Alabama. The Jets are terrible. And you took someone from their practice squad and a quarterback at that, which clearly means that you need more depth at the quarterback position, because you're pretty sure that Lamar isn't going to play, and Huntley runs just as much as Lamar does, if not more, and he might get taken out of the game too. So you need someone else on the roster to come in and at least hand the ball off. So it's going to be a bad day for Baltimore. As good as the Ravens actually are as a team, I could absolutely see Baltimore getting blown out in this game. I think Green Bay is going to handle them. It's going to be ugly. Ravens Nation, you should be worried. Don't pay for tickets to go to this game. Don't go to the bar. Don't bet anybody. Don't say anything bad about Aaron Rodgers. Don't watch Jeopardy. Just take the week off. The Green Bay Packers are going to beat the hell out of you, and that's what it is.
Sheesh. So Famous Facts Fees is predicting a blowout over those Baltimore Ravens, and I can kind of agree with you there. I don't think it'll be a blowout. Now, I do have the Packers winning. They're clearly the better team. The defense is better. The offense is better. The quarterback play is better. Overall, they're the better coached team right now. They're just playing sound football all the way around. And, let's start with one point that you mentioned there. Are they going to be good for 4 quarters? I don't think so. Are they going to be consistent offensively? I don't think so. Nope. We've had multiple games where they're not scoring points in the first quarter, where they are towards the bottom of the league in fourth quarter points, where they are just not giving you 60 solid minutes of a Harbaugh, Lamar Jackson game plan. And when you're talking about getting later into the year, this is December now. We're moving into the playoffs. We're moving into January. What are you going to be? And if you're inconsistent, if you're exposable, that's going to come out. Okay, that's absolutely going to come out against a LaFleur at this point, against a Belichick later on in the season, against a Andy Reid later on in the season. And that's why it made me tough to put Lamar Jackson and the Ravens in my top 10, as much as I didn't want to count them out, because I love Lamar, one of my favorite players in the league. I just love watching Baltimore light it up on the field. But the question is, when do they light up on the field? Another question is, does Lamar Jackson play? This is a completely different team without Lamar Jackson. We saw against the Browns, they only lost by a couple once the game got towards the end. But if Lamar Jackson plays that game, they win. I want to say we both picked them to win that game, if I'm not mistaken. Did you pick Cleveland? I feel like you might have.
No, I did pick Cleveland.
There you go. So you did pick Cleveland to win. I, of course, had Baltimore to go and take the victory, but that was, mainly because of Lamar Jackson over Baker Mayfield. Maybe not defensively, Ravens over Browns, because the Browns have been a good defensive team this year. But you got to ask yourself again, does the team play well on all aspects? That's been a struggle for them lately, and you can't do that in December. We know Baltimore can do all the things that they need to do, but will they actually do it? That's been a big question. We went from saying, what is Lamar Jackson doing this week that he couldn't do before, to now, what is Lamar Jackson and the offense going to do? What is John Harbaugh going to draw up? That's concerning for Baltimore, for Ravens fans, like you said. So I agree. Ravens, maybe they shouldn't be tucking their tails, but they should be expecting a loss here. Now, if they pull off the upset, fantastic. Don't think it's going to happen, though. And the Packers are still rolling despite those injuries. Aaron Rodgers is crazily enough in the MVP conversation. How can he not be at this point? He's not slowing down. This is the best defense he's ever had in his career. Some say this is the best Packers team they've ever seen. I kind of beg to differ, but they're mad talented. No question about that. Matt LaFleur is definitely building that resume right now. And what more can you say about how the Packers have really kind of surprised everyone this year? We knew they were going to be a team at the top of the NFC, but did we expect them to be, a top 3 team, a top 2 team, a team that we can say can go to the Super Bowl? And we've seen analysts before say, oh yeah, it's going to be Packers and Chiefs. It's going to be Packers and someone else in the Super Bowl. Let's not forget Aaron Rodgers has 1 NFC championship win, 1 Super Bowl appearance, and if I'm not mistaken, he's 1-5 in the NFC title game. I understand we can make excuses for defense. We can make excuses for who he's played, whatever, Matt Ryan, Tom Brady, whatever the case may be. Okay, he's had chances time in and time out. And like I said, I think the Packers win this game, but we didn't expect the Packers to be this type of team, this early or this late in the NFL season. So we like to see it. Packers take the W here. It's a much needed one, and this will definitely have implications for the playoffs rolling on forward. Bell, I'm going to go ahead and throw it over to you a little early here on the sponsor break, but we got a bunch of picks and spreads to get into. Week 14 results, Week 15 picks and spreads. Bell, can I swing it to you, brother? You got me over there? I know you do.
Yeah, man.
Appreciate
Always,
you, my man.
I know how to do what I do, man. I'm going to keep it 100. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. Like always, every week right here, Petty Sports, brought to you by KINGZ Broadcasting Studio, featuring Adam Lewis, Raphael, Famous Facts, Fees. Man.
Sharper.
Oh, yeah. I was going to leave that part out. But, yeah, Sharper, you know what I'm saying? But, ladies and gentlemen, we greatly appreciate your participation tonight in the chat room. Wesley finally showed up, you know what I'm saying? So, big shouts out to him. Ladies and gentlemen, keep sharing the show. We greatly appreciate your support. Thank you for driving the numbers on the page over on Facebook. You know what I'm saying? That's a big shout out right there to you guys that's doing that and sharing the show like that. So do the same thing over there on YouTube, all right? You know what I'm saying? Go to YouTube. The show is streaming right there live right now on YouTube, the same way it is right here on Facebook. So, got the comment room over there on YouTube as well. So type in Petty Sports with a Z over on YouTube. Subscribe to the page. That would really be a great, great thing for us. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Because we way too sexy to just be over here on Facebook. You know what I'm saying? We trying to expand this thing, get on this algorithm. You know what I mean? And really, really drive some numbers. A lot of great content over there. All of the previously aired shows are there. I mean, close to 200 shows, over 200 shows on there?
Yeah, this is episode 36 with Fees and I, but we got over 250 clips on YouTube.
Yeah,
yes, sir.
Exactly. So, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot of content over there for you guys to consume and enjoy from these guys doing the show, and check out some of their greatest clips, you know what I'm saying, as I would call it, you know. So, check out your favorite team. If you know what I'm saying, you got a squad that's doing something, I'm pretty sure they've pick them apart over there on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? You can comment that way. So check us out on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, all over the place, man. Just type in Petty Sports, Twitch, you know, Book of Face, Fedbook, all that good stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? Apple, iHeart, Google, Spotify, they all over the place, man. So just type in Petty Sports. Do us that big solid, man, and that'll really, really be a big deal for us, you know what I'm saying, going to the holiday season. That would really be like a great gift for us. If everybody that subscribed to the Facebook page would just simply go over to the YouTube page and subscribe, man, that would be hot, you know what I'm saying? So keep that in mind, you know, that'd be a great gift for us. And we have great gift items for you as well to pass out to your loved ones and friends and family members over on KINGZBroadcasting.com. Got tumblers, mugs, t-shirts, hoodies, all that kind of good stuff over there, man. And we got a big fat donate button right there at the bottom of the page on the home page right there, you know what I'm saying? So that would be a great gift also, you know what I'm saying? Spend some money with your boys, you know what I mean? Spend some money with your boys. Support black business, support black business, support black business. Because we do ATL Ho. 678-871-9602, 678-871-9602. That's how you can be a part of the show tonight. Big shouts out to Kevin and
Anderson in Minneapolis.
The guy that called in, the two guys, Kevin.
Yeah, Kevin and Ken.
Kevin and Ken.
Kemp and
All right.
Ken.
Kemp and Ken. All right. You know what I'm saying? That's what's good, man. All right. So keep the calls coming. Keep showing the love. We greatly appreciate it. Back to the regular schedule program.
Appreciate that, Bell. Best breaker out there, man. We appreciate you so much. All right, man. So, you know, it is that time. Last 30 minutes of the show. We go ahead and spill over into our results for last week. NFL pick'ems, and we get on into week 15. But of course, you know, as always, we show you the results, how we did for the previous week, how we're doing for the season so far. Fee, shout out to you, man. Back-to-back 11-win weeks. Proud of you, brother. You making it back in there.
I told you, once I start to see what's happening, then I know what's popping.
Yeah, because look, everybody's exposed themselves. Everybody's got a flaw. We know who everybody is. Okay, there is no question who you are. You're probably going to keep that identity. It's not possible to really change your identity or your chemistry later on in December. But as you see there on the screen feeds, you still got some time to rally up on me, man. You're only 10 picks behind me. Anything can happen in the last 4 weeks. I'm going to knock on wood because I don't want that manifestation and karma like I always be throwing out there to swing back over to me. But, man, week 14 was absolutely great. Had some playoff implications, had some great games, had some awesome highlights, and geez, bro, I can't believe it's week 15. I mean, we were literally sitting up here what seems like, you know, just weeks ago talking about the Hall of Fame game, doing our expectations versus reality for every division, which absolutely catapulted us to where we are now. We super, super appreciate you guys. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the week 15 picks and spreads. And we'll start out with tomorrow night's game, Kansas City at the Los Angeles Chargers. Chargers are underdogs by 3 in SoFi Stadium. Fees, who you got in this one?
I'm absolutely taking the LA Chargers for the sweep of the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chargers are actually a problem for the Chiefs. You know, their defense has been looking good in this stretch, but they have not been playing against top-flight offenses that are at full strength, which is exactly what the LA Chargers are. The Chargers have been surging. They're playing at home. They're very confident. They're not scared of the Chiefs. The Chiefs' defense is not nearly as good as what the numbers would suggest that it is. I mean, it's kind of like the Buffalo Bills. Their defense, like the numbers still say they have the best defense in the NFL, and we all know that's straight bull. And it's just like the Kansas City Chiefs. The LA Chargers are about to expose all the weaknesses of the defense that the Chiefs have, and they're going to beat them tomorrow night on center stage. The Chiefs' win streak is done, and we're going to start questioning what the hell is going on with the Chiefs.
That'll be an interesting one for sure. I am going to take Kansas City in this one, though, just like we peeled through or went through in the weekend watch. I just don't think they're going to get swept by Justin Herbert in his second season. And again, that's no slight to Justin Herbert. He's absolutely been great, playing great football. So, we don't really have anything to say bad about him. I just trust Kansas City in this game, in this AFC West divisional, showdown. At this point where it's going to have playoff implications, I trust all their playmakers to come forward. Andy Reid will definitely outcoach Brandon Staley. Patrick Mahomes should play better than Justin Herbert, despite Herbert being so hot at the moment. But with the Chargers being underdogs at home, considering they won the game before, like we said, Fees, before we got on here, man, Vegas knows something. Vegas absolutely knows something. They do this for a living. I mean, everybody tunes into Vegas, and I think Vegas might be they'll be right on this one. Chiefs win. They do not cover the spread, though, oddly enough, because I think it'll be a close game divisional, of course, against their rivals in the Chargers. Let's move on here. Las Vegas at Cleveland, and with Baker Mayfield and so many starters testing positive for COVID-19, the Browns went from being favored by 3 to now being underdogs by 1.5. at home against the Las Vegas Raiders. Fees, Raiders at Browns. Who you got in this one?
Man, initially I was going to take the Cleveland Browns because they actually looked like they were turning a corner. Now there's no Baker, no Jarvis. Like they're missing so many pieces on both sides of the ball. I don't really see any way that the Cleveland Browns can rebound this. I think the Raiders are going to win by default because they're playing a makeshift Cleveland team. Not even Stefanski is going to be out there. Like this is going to be a bad game for Cleveland. I'm going to take the Raiders, and it's simply because COVID decimated the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, I highly agree with you. I mean, John Johnson is on there, one of their good corners. Jarvis Landry, Baker Mayfield, even the head coach, Kevin Stefanski, has tested positive for COVID. And, I mean, the NFL is just absolutely under it right now. Keeping it to the Raiders and the Browns, though, I will take the Raiders to win here as well. I think they cover the spread, small spread there, really not much of, one to bank on. But it could be an easy bet if you're considering the injuries at this point as the game is going to get underway. It's just going to be, I feel like, a smooth win for the Raiders at this point. Cleveland's probably going to feel lost not having a lot of their main starters out there, not having a good bit of their, playmakers out there for them. And in like Fees, I had the Browns originally winning this football game, but the Raiders are going to come in this one. The Raiders are going to be coming back in this one. They're absolutely going to be playing their hearts out here because they understand how they started the season at a 5-2 record, I believe, now sitting at 6-7. So basically Raidering it up. Sorry, Joe Morley, if you end up seeing this clip, man. I know you're a big Raiders fan, but it's been tough. It's definitely been tough, and I think this win is what they need. They will win. They will cover your spread. Take your points, make your bet, and let's move on to the New England Patriots at the Indianapolis Colts, and have no idea why the Colts are favored by 2.5 at home, but Fees, who you got here?
Yeah, I mean, the spread is actually kind of odd to me. I'm not sure what it is exactly that the Indianapolis Colts showed Vegas that made them think that the Colts would actually win this game enough for them to favor them. I mean, we do know that you get 3 points for being at home, and the spread is less than 3, so that means that New England actually is a 0.5 point favorite, but they gave them the 3 points for being at home. But it should be just as what we all know it will be. The New England Patriots will shut down Jonathan Taylor. They'll force Carson Wentz to throw the football. Wentz will throw at least 2 interceptions, and there will be a fumble in this game. So I'm giving you a +3 turnover margin in this game for the New England Patriots, and the Patriots will win it, and they'll win it by a sizable margin. Not a blowout, but when I say sizable, I mean like by 10.
I could agree with you there. New England's clearly the better team. Mac Jones and Carson Wentz are probably playing comparable football at this moment just because, Mac Jones is in a great system. He's got the best coach ever in Bill Belichick absolutely leading the way for him. This New England team, a crazy defense. They are on an amazing win streak and definitely outperforming expectations. Fees and I sat up here and asked everybody, how many games will Mac Jones win in his rookie year? Could he win 5? Could he win 10? And it's definitely going to be above that 10 mark. I could say probably 12 to 13 wins here.
I said 12.
Yeah, there you go. And it's definitely going to hold up to that. Mac Jones is playing great football, but I don't want to take anything away from Indianapolis. They've definitely hit their stride here lately. Jonathan Taylor is going to be the main focus for Belichick and the Patriots. But like we just said in the weekend watch, they're going to take away your best. They're going to take away your best player. They're going to take away your best move. You got to play left-handed. You got to adjust against Belichick. And once they go one-dimensional with Carson Wentz and having it be on his shoulders, I just don't trust Wentz to really get through a Belichick defense and weed through all the BS so he can pull out the win. Give me New England with the upset, so they're automatically going to cover for you. I think it's one of the safer bets of the weekend, if you ask me. Now let's go ahead and move on to the Carolina I still suck with Cam Newton Panthers. PJ Walker being the backup at Buffalo with Josh Inconsistent Allen. Buffalo is minus 10.5 at home. Who you got here, Fees?
Reluctantly, I'm going to have to take Buffalo in the game. As bad as their run defense is, it's hard to really even look at a spread for Buffalo to beat anybody that bad. If we get a heavy dose of Chuba Hubbard and Cam Newton running that football, Carolina should be in the game. I can't see them winning it because Cam has been playing god-awful football, and I don't even want to discuss that. It's just a mere fact that Buffalo has also been very inconsistent and iffy. Their defense is getting a lot of credit for teams taking advantage of their weaknesses.
Yep.
Teams understand that their run defense is the worst in the entire NFL, so they run the ball on them. So subsequently, Buffalo's numbers look like they have the best passing defense in the NFL, which is why I always urge you to look at points allowed as opposed to total defense, because total defense is only predicated on yards.
Yep.
The yards, that's a wayward stat. They do not tell the truth. If you looked at the game, be like, oh, they only allowed New England 19 yards passing in that Monday night game. Like, did you win it? No, because they ran the ball down your throat because your rush defense is terrible. That's why your pass defense looks that good. And you look at it, it's the same thing the other way around. Teams that have terrible pass defenses, their secondary is god-awful. Their run defense numbers are great, and it looks like, oh, you can't run on them. Like, no, you actually can. It's just that their pass defense is so bad that people just decide to throw on them because it's easier. I think that's where Buffalo is. Buffalo will win the game. They're not going to win by 10.5. Don't bet on that spread.
Oddly enough, I'm going to have to contrast you there, man. I do think Buffalo wins this game. I do think they cover the spread for the mere fact that the Panthers have been reeling really ever since bringing Cam Newton back in. And it sucks to see because we sat up here and talked about how great it was going to be. Cam Newton had 2 touches, 2 touchdowns. Just overall, taking that W against the Cardinals, I believe it was, when they were pretty banged up at that point in time. I know Kyler, no DeAndre Hopkins, so it was definitely tough at that point in time. But they really just haven't been the same since. And, you're benching Cam Newton in back-to-back weeks, bringing him in for 2-point conversions. Cam was pissed last game. And maybe not rightfully so, but he was playing not even good enough, bad enough to get benched at that point. You're bringing in an ex-XFL star in PJ Walker, and, the Falcons feasted on him as well. So, picking Carolina to win that last game, the Falcons basically just, rolling all over them. I don't see Buffalo, why Buffalo wouldn't do anything different. They need this win. They know what we're saying over here on Petty Sports. They know what they're saying on ESPN and FS1 and on NFL Network. A lot of people are selling their stock on the Bills, especially here between Fees and I, but they will win against a very inferior team in the Carolina Panthers. I think they cover the spread as well. Now let's move on to the most outlandish spread of the week. The Arizona Cardinals at the Detroit Lions. The Lions are plus 13.5 at home hosting the Arizona Cardinals. I know who you got, but tell the people anyways.
I mean, I'm going to take the Arizona Cardinals, and I don't think the spread is crazy because Detroit probably has the second or third most players out on the COVID list, and they already are not a good football team. I mean, they play very tough football. They're scrappy, and they've been in a lot of games, and they bring it to you. But if you're going to tell me that Detroit is missing 8 to 10 players from the COVID list in addition to playing the Arizona Cardinals, there's no way that Arizona's not covering that spread. 13.5, Arizona's going to win. They'll cover the spread. It won't be a problem at all.
Yeah, man, Arizona definitely wins this game. I don't know, covering the spread, though, I don't know, just 13.5. I know it's the Lions. I understand it's a bad team, but for some reason, I'm wanting to hold out on the spread here. I know they're going to be missing DeAndre Hopkins. Kyler's definitely going to be able to rebound against a bad Detroit Lions team, the worst team in the league, no question about that. I'll quit out thinking the room here. I'll take the Cardinals to win, of course. I think they cover the spread. I don't know why it's just not sitting right with me, but they're clearly leaps and bounds better than the Detroit Lions right now. There's not even a sense to break this game down. I mean, Detroit's just bad. They need to do something over, no question about it. Now we have the Jets traveling to Miami to face those Dolphins. The Dolphins are at home at -8.5 on the spread. Who you got here, Fees?
I'm going to take the Miami Dolphins. They both have players out on the COVID-19 list, but Mike White is out, which means that if Zach Wilson stinks it up, which he always does, they don't even have anyone to go to. I mean, it's a sad reality for the New York Jets and all those fans that came to try to trash me on the YouTube when I told y'all how bad Zach Wilson was. Look at you now. What are you, 2-11? Well, no, they're not quite that bad. What are the Jets won? 5 games?
No. Hold on.
They've won a few.
They're 3-10.
3-10. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I gave you way more credit than you should have had.
Third worst record in the league.
3-10 with your guy, Zach Wilson, that you all were riding for, telling me how good he was. And like, oh, I told you that he would lead the league in interception because he throws 50-50 balls. He's a gunslinger, and he's not that good. And guess what? You're 3-10, and you suck. Yeah, so the Jets are going to lose to the Dolphins. You're going to be 3-11, and that's just what it is. And you won't cover the spread either.
I'm taking Miami as well to win this football game. Again, let's not outthink the room. Miami's the better football team. I'm going to take Brian Flores over a rookie head coach and Robert Saleh any day. And I know Miami has kind of been a weird team this year, considering how they played last year, coming into this year. But again, let's not outthink the room. Miami's clearly the better team. I'll even take Tua over Zach Wilson at this point. I mean, who knows what the quarterback matchup might be by the time it rolls around. Give me Miami, though. Now, I don't think they cover the spread because 8.5 seems kind of large for a Jets team that's probably going to be playing hard after getting blown out of the water by the New Orleans Saints. So give me Miami here. I don't like the spread, though, so I will stay off of that. But Miami will win this football game. Dallas at New York, an NFC least matchup where anything can happen in these types of games, man. Dak Prescott over Daniel Jones?
I mean, I'm definitely going to take the Dallas Cowboys. I think that 10.5-point spread is ridiculous because every NFC East matchup is a knockout, drag-out battle, and it doesn't matter if Dallas gets up by 20. New York will probably get back in the game. They always play tight games in this division, so I'm confident that the Dallas Cowboys will win the game, but that 10.5-point spread, I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. Not happening.
Dallas at New York plus 10.5. You know, I had them winning this game and covering the spread, taking the points here, so I'm going to stick to them winning the game, covering the spread, and taking the points here. And as much as they should, you know, I'm over here thinking about Washington and thinking about Philadelphia potentially, but the Giants are just bad, man. I mean, I understand they were kind of trying to get something going there. They had a win against New Orleans earlier in the year. They went on a little bit of a win streak, but overall, they still have so many holes to fill. They still have, you know, so much to do overall with that team. Dallas is, you know, a Super Bowl contender this year, or at least trying to stick to that status. They've been reeling a little bit in the last few games. And overall, you know, Dak Prescott should be able to have a good game here. Mike McCarthy should be able to coach his way to a victory here. So give me Dallas over New York with the 10.5-point spread. I'll take the points. I'll take the win for Dallas, and we'll move on to another NFC least matchup. You got Washington at Philadelphia. This might be the hardest game of the week to pick. Don't know why. Philadelphia's at home -4.5. Who you got, Fees?
I'm going to take the Philadelphia Eagles. I originally had the Washington football team until I looked at the COVID list and saw that At least 8 to 10 starters for the Washington football team are out. They're already not a great football team. I mean, Philly has been playing some decent football. Washington is actually in the playoffs right now, and they're not going to look like a playoff team because with the amount of players that they have out, I mean, they're just not good enough to overcome that. I think Jalen Hurts can beat this team when you take that many players off the field for the Washington football team. I'm going to take the Philadelphia Eagles. Still don't know if they'll cover the spread, but I absolutely am taking the Eagles to win now.
Eagles with the W for Triple F here. I don't know, man. This one is tough. I had Washington highlighted on here to win, but after looking at their COVID list, I mean, they're missing a good amount of people. Pass rushers, backup quarterbacks, corners, defensive players. I mean, it's tough. Terry McLaurin went out in the last game, so you kind of don't know his status walking into this one. Now, I haven't researched his status, but knowing that he went out with an injury, it is going to be tough. He's one of their best players. You've got Gibson. You've got, J.D. McKissick, but, none of those guys, the running backs are on the COVID list, but considering they're going to be missing so many pieces, I love watching Jalen Hurts play, one of the most underrated players in the NFL. Still don't understand why people might be doubting his talent. Give me Philadelphia here, though. Now, I don't think they cover the spread just because, again, like you said, NFC least matchups. They're always knockdown dragouts. They always come down to the wire. Give me Philly. Give me Sirianni. Give me Hurts here to win this football game. No points, though. I'll stay off of that. All right. Next up, we have Wesley Davis at Jamila Mathis, and Jamila is an underdog by 1.5 points in her own crib. Tennessee at Pittsburgh. Fees, who you got here?
I mean, Pittsburgh won the Pride match last week, and I gave them that. Well, actually, no, they didn't. They got smacked. That was 2 weeks ago. My bad. I got my signals crossed. They lost to Minnesota, to my dismay. Shouldn't have picked them. They cost me money in my pick pool just for that nonsense. But in true Pittsburgh fashion, they will come into this game at home. They'll show up in the beginning of the game. They'll get walked down. The Tennessee Titans will beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh is a bad football team, and as we've seen in weeks after the departure of Derrick Henry, the Tennessee Titans offensive line is probably the best in football, and it doesn't matter who's out there toting the rock. It's really just all a matter of how well Ryan Tannehill throws the football. Pittsburgh defense, it's not that good. I think Tennessee will have success. I think they'll sustain an actual full football game, and even though Pittsburgh will get up early, Tennessee will ultimately take this football game. And who is favored? Tennessee is favored by 1.5. That's a tiny spread. Take the Titans with the points.
I'll take the Titans as well, man. But Pittsburgh being plus 1.5 at home, I don't know. It's kind of odd for me. I don't know why I didn't write points on here because they definitely should cover the spread. They will cover the spread. There you go, Wesley. Go ahead and say Titans win. Yeah, we're going to say Titans win, man. Pittsburgh, I mean, I know everybody's got an identity, but you just don't know what kind of Pittsburgh you're going to get. I mean, are they going to be, that defensive prowess, or is Big Ben going to play average to good to where they can have an offensive presence? Is Najee Harris going to get involved? Is Chase Claypool going to understand how much time is on the clock? I mean, geez, that was kind of blown out of proportion, but, just a little bit of jokes there. Tennessee does win this game. They absolutely cover the spread. And let's go ahead and move on to the Doo-Doo Bowl of the week. Houston at Jacksonville, where, I mean, who knows? Does Urban Meyer last after this football game? I mean, man, it's definitely going to be tough, no question. Jacksonville is favored at home -3, but it's really a pick 'em. Who do you got, Fees?
I mean, I don't think anyone in Houston or Jacksonville is actually going to watch this football game.
Right, the lowest watch game of the weekend, no doubt.
No one cares about this game. But I think Jacksonville actually will get another W here. And then Urban Meyer will think that he has a leg to stand on. I mean, there's two very bad football teams. You got Davis Mills against Trevor Lawrence. Two rookie quarterbacks, actually.
Yep.
You've got Urban Meyer. Like there's nothing to pull out of this matchup. It's just a bad game. I'm going to take Jacksonville, and there's not even any reason for it.
Yeah, same here, man. When I was taking the notes today for the show, I was like, geez, we got Washington and Philly. We got Houston at Jacksonville. I mean, this is no doubt the worst game of the weekend. Like I said, Jacksonville is at home. They're favored -3, but that's really a pick 'em since we give them 3 points for being at home. I take Trevor Lawrence over Davis Mills. I really don't know if I take either coaching matchup at this point in the season, but Jacksonville will win. I don't think they cover the spread just because, it's Jacksonville. Houston, God, just two bad teams here. I'm just stumbling over my words. This is how bad this matchup is. Give me Jacksonville. They don't cover the spread. Let's move on to a better matchup. Cincinnati, Joe Burrow at Denver and Teddy Bridgewater. Denver's -1.5 at home. Who do you got here, Fees?
This one was actually kind of tough because, it depends on what Denver team shows up in this game, how this matchup will go. But at the end of the day, I'm going to have to take the Cincinnati Bengals just because they have the better quarterback. They have the better skilled players at running back and wide receiver. So, even if this game comes down to the wire, I'm going to trust Cincinnati to make a play more than I trust the Denver Broncos. Not sure how that spread made it to where it is. I'm taking the Bengals.
I'll take the Bengals as well. Just Joe Burrow's, been playing good football. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins has been getting involved. Uzama has been playing well at the tight end position. And I still think Cincinnati's defense is a little underrated this year. Actually, a good bit underrated. I don't think it gets talked about enough. They've actually got some guys over there. Love seeing Joe Mixon doing his thing for the Cincinnati team. Give me Cincinnati to win here. Spread's only -1.5, so I think they should easily cover this. No matter how much it is, they'll cover the spread. You will win your money. And now let's go on to a very, very high-stake playoff game here. We've got the Atlanta Falcons traveling to San Francisco to face those 49ers. And last time Atlanta took this trip in the Super Bowl year, not in the Super Bowl year, in the Super Bowl year for the Niners, they beat them on the road on a last-second catch by Julio Jones. Now, San Francisco is -9, which is crazy outlandish to me. Who do you got here, Fees?
It's not a crazy high playoff implication game. The Falcons are not making the playoffs. The San Francisco 49ers are playing absolutely like a playoff football team like we thought they were going to be. San Francisco is going to win this game, and it won't be all that close. The spread is kind of high, but I'm taking San Francisco, and I would be remiss not to take the points.
So you take San Francisco, and they'll cover the spread?
Yeah, Frisco by 10.
Heard. So they definitely cover the spread. You're going to win your money there. I'll take San Francisco to win as well. Now, I don't think they cover the spread. I think this could even go potentially to an overtime game. I know the Falcons are 6-7. They've been an up and down team this year, but when you look at San Francisco just now coming around to being healthy, when you look at how the Falcons have been playing the last couple of weeks and just overall actually playing decent football, no, they're not going to be a good team. They're not going to be a great team. Nobody's out here saying the Falcons are absolutely going to make the playoffs. I was inclined to pick them just a little bit here, but I think San Francisco overall is the better coach team. They've probably got the better quarterback at the end of the day. Maybe not by much, but Jimmy G does make great decisions, and he's got an arm. Just San Francisco's offensive prowess overall, they still got the defense intact. Bosa's over there. He'll probably terrorize Matt Ryan a little bit in this game. So give me the Niners. They don't cover the spread. Let's move on to the Seahawks at the Los Angeles Rams. LA is -5.5 at home. Who you got here, Fees?
The Rams should win the game. I'm really not sure if I can trust them coming off of such a big win, especially with so many players on their defense out on the COVID list. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna have to take the Rams.
Rams. Yeah, I'll take the Rams as well. Even though Seattle has won a couple in a row, the Rams are just clearly the better team. Seattle's been the biggest disappointment of the NFL season by far. Give me the Rams here, -4.5. They cover the spread. They need this one big time. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. They got to beat the Seahawks, though, if they want to stay any sort of relevant, especially with the talk show topics. Give me the Rams to cover. Let's move on to the Green Bay Packers at the Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore's +4.5 at home. Underdogs in the crib. Who you got here, Fees?
Green Bay will win. Green Bay will cover the spread, and I would have picked Green Bay even if Lamar Jackson was healthy because they don't play more than a quarter and a half worth of real football in any week. So, yeah, give me the Packers.
Yeah,
and the points.
That is super depressing to say for those Baltimore Ravens. I'm going to take the Green Bay Packers as well. They're just the better team overall. I think right now they might be on the upper hand of the coaching over Harbaugh and crew over there in Baltimore. Lamar Jackson going out, that's going to be tough to see what he's actually going to be able to do. Aaron Rodgers, like we've said, is still continuing on the MVP path. The defense is a huge story of the team this year. Give me Green Bay. Give me those 4.5 points. Give me the spread. Give me the money. Oh, boy. Now on to the New Orleans Saints at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And the Saints are just a completely different team ever since facing Tampa. Tampa's at home, -11. My Lord. Fees, who you got?
I'm going to take the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but New Orleans seems to be one of their kryptonite teams, kind of like how Miami was to Tom Brady. So I'm not sure that Tampa Bay is actually covering that spread. They're going to win the game, but winning by 11 against a team that had their number like that number is too big for me. I would not put money on Tampa with those points, but Tampa will win.
I take Tampa to win as well, as much as I hate to say it, sitting up here in my beautiful Alvin Kamara jersey that I bought from New Orleans. The moment I got in the state to witness my first Saints game, I gave you the details there. Nobody asked. I don't care, though. Love this jersey. Tampa Bay does win here. I don't think they cover the spread, though. Like Fee said, New Orleans has been a little bit of a kryptonite for Tom Brady lately, and the defense is still trying to stay around. Tampa wins. They don't cover the spread. Not too much to break down here. Tampa's clearly the better team. Now for our Monday night matchup, NFC North, Minnesota at Chicago. Chicago's +3.5. Who you got?
Minnesota. Chicago's just a bad football team. Doesn't matter what Justin Fields does. I mean, Dalvin Cook is going to eat. If Kirk Cousins, he seems like he's slightly gotten over his primetime phobia of actually playing football. And Minnesota has played good games against good teams in big spots. And Chicago's not a good team. So I think Minnesota will roll them, and they'll easily cover the spread.
I think Minnesota wins here as well. Clearly the better football team. Covering the spread, though, I don't know. I mean, I'll take it. Let's not outthink the room. Minnesota wins. Chicago they got to do something better for Justin Fields. That's going to wrap up the Week 15 picks. We are out of here, ladies and gentlemen. It is 10 o'clock. We appreciate y'all. Look, subscribe. The comments were great. The calls were great. Keep it going on Facebook, YouTube, everywhere we're at. It's not about where Petty Sports is. It's about where you listen. We'll be back next Wednesday. It'll be fees only, though. He'll be carrying the load for the team. We'll see y'all next week. We appreciate y'all. Show went by quick tonight.